Time to brush your teeth. Published to YouTube by Talal Essa in April of 2017. You'll probably be triple checking your tap before you do that after watching this video. Asking why does black water come out of the tap? Talal demonstrates this unsettling happening, letting his tap run with inky, brackish, blackish brown water emitting from the faucet. The color does not dilute at all in the entire minute that he leaves it running. Is this toxic water? Probably not. Many in the comments offer suggestions for what's likely going on, with YouTuber Jack Jamin suggesting the color is likely due to heavy metal buildup, he says. Mick Bradford and Rumble Lane went another way though. Bradford asks, do you have a well and live next to a cemetery? While Rumble Lane simply states, there's a demon in your faucet. Certainly looks like it. In the depths below, no one can hear you scream, but that's not the case when Redditor JTS4 went splunking in these Georgia caves. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit, the Redditor writes that their GoPro recorded screaming in the darkness that they never heard in person. Moreover, he says that the caves were very quiet, so quiet you can hear a pin drop. As other Redditors note, the distant scream heard literally sounds like one from a horror movie. It's clear in the clip that the Redditor didn't hear it, as he continues to navigate through the cave, talking nonchalantly to his audience. While most agree that this is super freaky, others suggest it might not be paranormal at all. Redditor Brule's Rules for Your Health writes, reminds me of a feral hog sound. They used to go in caves near my grandma's house and get trapped inside. Other suggestions include a mountain lion or a fox, while some think it could be a woman. The Redditor says the cave is popular, so who knows, but it still doesn't explain why they didn't hear it in person at the time. He also says they were very deep in the cave along an 8-mile stretch that hasn't been fully explored. Could this be the reason why? Reddit, the origin of all things internet creepy. Redditor Kiaha alleges that the link to this video was emailed to her recently, writing, I have no idea where this tape came from, but it truly does scare me. The video is titled simply One Sept and was uploaded to YouTube by Igor ASD. It shows what appears to be an abandoned building being explored in the dark with a flashlight. After a bit of meandering, the shot comes across a sign that says in Russian, museum work, along with a schedule, likely listing the museum's opening hours. Around 2.5 minutes into the video is where the true creepiness happens. A shadowy figure appears in the shot of a doorway across a dark room. It walks through the doorway and the camera's light goes dark. The screen goes blue. After this, a series of images of a building appear, footage through a peephole, and the film's final image, a still figure in front of a glowing monitor. What is this piece? Could it be found footage? What do you think it is? I think it's certainly scary. This abandoned home houses a real poltergeist, and YouTuber Dima from A Sip of Fear is about to encounter it. He first hears a noise as he's searching the home. Then something more clearly reveals itself. A light goes out in the next room, which is captured on a Steadicam. And then the exterior door starts banging.
Вы сейчас пугаете?
When this continues later on, Dima goes to investigate.
Дергайте сюда.
There is nothing there though, but I think it's the absence of anything that's leaving viewers afraid. This dashcam video was supposedly taken near Hanoi, Vietnam, and was posted on Facebook where it spread to the local news. In it, the car soon pulls up to a figure dressed in all white standing in the middle of the road. The drivers are quite concerned that this individual is standing in the middle of a pitch black road, alone besides one street light above. They don't ask the person anything. Instead, they quickly drive away. While many online thought it was a ghost of some kind, news agencies have said that this was a woman who is not mentally well and was possibly attempting to take her own life. Let's hope she got the help she needed before it was too late. Michael Jackson may have made a spirited cameo in YouTuber Kelsey Davies' adventure in the Forest Lawn Cemetery. Accompanied by Omar Gosh TV, Kelsey enters the Los Angeles Cemetery, where the King of Pop was laid to rest in 2009.
Drawn to over here, like I just felt like I needed to look on these walls, and all of a sudden he was sighing, and Margaret, which is so great.
This is what happened during the team's visit.
This is Michael Jackson, co-stunner. Are you here, Michael?
Is Michael Jackson, have you met him? Do you know if Michael Jackson's here?
After that, Michael began to make music.
Is there someone here with us?
Using dowsing rods to communicate, Kelsey gets a reading.
It's moving a lot.
Look.
Ooh.
Get it. Are you the... Yeah. I'm so curious.
While continuing to speak to Margaret, she confirms that the spirit is not related to Michael.
Hey, I got a question for Margaret. Are you related to Michael Jackson? Does that mean no?
No.
Okay.
Kelsey then really starts to become one with Michael.
My heart hurts.
Oh.
Like a heart attack. This person. How did Michael die? I know
Heart
that-
failure,
Heart failure?
cardiac arrest.
That was his.
That was his cause.
And at last, Michael reveals himself.
Is this person here, is your name Michael? Can you cross the dowsing rods in my hand for yes and open them for no?
They are not alone.
Ooh.
It turns out something else is here.
Are you Michael Jackson?
Oh, it is.
Does Michael have company?
Are you a demon?
Maybe he's playing out Thriller in the afterlife. It's well documented that creatures in the deep ocean are mysterious and terrifying, but will not often cross paths with such creatures due to the depths they inhabit. However, rarely do we imagine what the muddy waters of our rivers are hiding. Published by Kiwi TV on YouTube in April of 2016, this river in China is hiding something frightening. Marine life that looks partly hippo, partly dolphin, partly crocodile, and wholly terrifying was caught on camera while being poked and prodded by a garden tool. The large river-dwelling creature doesn't move much while being examined, nor does it appear to see much, as it seems not to have eyes. An anonymous YouTuber suggests it's a type of river dolphin. However, it doesn't look much like the baji, a river dolphin that was believed to have gone extinct in the early 2000s. While that sighting was not altogether confirmed, this additional footage may suggest the aquatic mammal is, in fact, alive, though the population has been shrinking since the 80s. The baji appear to have a longer and narrower bill, while this strange one caught in this video features a wider bill, no eyes, and lots of body splotches and patches. Is this a deformed baji? If not the baji, what other type of aquatic creature might this be? At around 3 a.m. on April 12, 2010, this strange apparition was captured on the security camera of a bar and grill in Las Cruces, New Mexico during closing hours. Published by Ghost Investigations New Mexico in April of 2010, the crew slowed the frame-by-frame to 1/8 speed and shot video of the bar's security monitor. What they captured does indeed look like a floating head. In the regular shot, it appears to flash in and out quite quickly, while in the frame-by-frame, it looks like it actually flew out of sight. You can make out the eyes, nose, and mouth and ears of the head's face, but it doesn't appear to have a body. There was no one inside the bar and grill at this hour. So what is this thing? Is it the face of a spirit? Where did its body go? This video was taken at the Galway Swimming Club in Ireland. It may not seem like much at first, but lion's mane jellyfish like this one can grow larger than a whale and have more than 1,000 poisonous tentacles. Each one can be over 100 feet long. In other words, it's one of the last creatures you'd want to ever see lurking in a public swimming area. Hundreds of these slow-moving monsters have been showing up on the west coast of Ireland, and no one knows why. Marine experts are completely baffled as to what could have changed in the waters to accommodate them, especially in such large numbers. Meanwhile, lion's mane jellyfish are continuing to send swimmers to the hospital, and the infestation shows no signs of slowing down. Have you ever felt like you were being watched? Published to YouTube by Mo Vlogs in July of 2018. This CCTV footage will spook even the bravest among us. While most of this video is super upbeat, about 10 minutes in is where the terror enters. It's then that Mo claims that he was being watched the day prior while taping his vlog, and he has the CCTV footage to prove it. He says there was a spooky person in a mask following him all day. Although Mo admits he thinks it was a prank, he pulls up the CCTV footage of this spooky lurker to show viewers what he had to contend with. The lurker appears to be wearing a black hooded robe and a white mask, walking at a gilded gate. He is seen crossing a parking lot, though it's not clear from whence he came from or where he is going. Mo says the footage was filmed that morning, not the day prior, so he surmises that the only person the lurker could be is his security guard or his mom. Prank or not, this haunting image is sure to give you nightmares. In this house, you'll expect a jump scare around every corner. After experiencing paranormal events in his family home, this man decided to take some video to see if he could capture anything on camera. Let's take the haunted tour. What is happening here? He finds a flower on the stairs. He claims no one in the household knows where it came from. Is this knock a warning, as the YouTuber believes? Well, upstairs in the bedroom, it happens again.
Oh man, you like to go over there.
Something just threw the clothes from the wardrobe. If those knocks were a warning, I'd take the clothes as a clear message. This ghost wants you to leave. This Redditor was a skeptic at first, but when he captured this video, he was transformed. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit, Notorious Meseros writes, I heard noises in the garage. I was Snapchatting my fiance who was at work about it. My fiance said it's a ghost, and I was an on-the-fence believer until this. The footage shows a garage full of stuff, just as the Redditor is saying he's not sure if he believes in ghosts. Something large and heavy falls from a shelf. Some in the comments point out that the object rotates curiously first.
I'm not sure if I believe anymore, but... Yo, okay.
before falling. Others think a rodent could have knocked it over, or some other critter, and still others think that this dude needs to clean his garage. Is that what the ghost is rudely suggesting here? I guess that's still better than dealing with a poltergeist. A couple of friends are driving around late at night, probably just to unwind for the day and have a good time with one another. During the drive, one of the guys in the car says that he thinks he saw some sort of animal, like a buck wandering around in the bushes right next to them. It almost seems like they are about to get out of the vehicle to take a closer look, but as you'll find out why in just a second, it's a good thing they didn't.
I thought I seen a big buck or something. Wait, stop right there. What is that? Is that a buck? What is that? Dude, that's not a...
What the heck? Look how big its arm span is, like arm, upper torso, and then the middle part of its torso just looks so thin along with its legs. Like it's just so built on just like the upper part of its body here. It's just super bizarre.
Wait.
And its skin almost look gray. One more time here.
I seen a big buck or something. Wait, stop right there. What is that? Is that a buck? What is that?
Buck.
Dude, that's not a... Wait, stop right there. What is that? Is that a buck? What is that? Dude, that's not a...
Besides the obvious creature jumping in the woods that oddly resembles the urban legend the rake, a lot of people in the comments are confused as to where the YouTube channel Paranormal News received this video, because the channel is Russian owned, but as you can tell, the men in the video are very much so American. Regardless of who it was filmed by though, this is one creature you would never want to see. Even if it is fake, it would startle you, especially this late at night. The historic Jefferson has plenty of haunting footage. This clip is one of the most chilling, captured by a guest staying in the doll room. The footage shows one of the room's many dolls coming to life. First, watch behind the pillow.
It just peers out like that for about a minute. That movement, though.
Something peers out. It's one of the dolls. A moment later, the doll falls over. This is the doll in question. The staff shares its creepy history.
It does have history to it. Typically, we'll put the doll here just to make it look kind of creaky, but we've had several guests say that the doll's not there, and we'll come and look, and the doll will be behind the chair. One time,
the doll is creepy just looking at it, but this footage on top of its history of innate creepiness ensures that I can't handle staying in the doll room. A disturbing shadow is settling over this room. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit, Kenton Bryant Music writes, "My buddy had his motion sensor go off for this. It never goes off unless his dog walks in front of the camera. The only problem? The dog was locked in the bedroom at the time." This was captured on his friend's Wise security camera in February of 2020. The video shows a darkened room with a light source at one end. A dark shadow sweeps into view, covering the light source briefly before disappearing from sight. The strangest part about this is that the shadow seems not to touch the ground. Is it flying? Redditor Gucci the God says that it could be lights from a passing car, coupled with a low light capture of the camera. But the OP nixes this idea, saying there's no window there and the driveway is private. Some in the comments think this is legit paranormal footage. This really looks like a shadow figure to me. What do you think? Any other explanations?
Okay, there is actually no wind.
that's really still. What's the noise?
Scary noises are coming from the end of a dark alleyway. Scary noises that sound more like a creature than a human.
Right, I don't want to go down. You've got night vision. You go down. I have to get the night vision. You just press the button on the side of the camera. That one.
Oh my... Is someone's telly? Pete, did someone's telly?
He turns on the night vision just in time to catch the flash of two large eyes the size of dinner plates and maybe 7 or 8 feet from the ground. They call out into the darkness and are greeted by a snarling creature that is finally caught on video.
You want to find out?
First, the eyes are visible once more at 1 minute and 17 seconds, moments before it comes at them, and right before they drop the camera to run, there is a blur of a mysterious creature on all fours running them down.
At least it's not dog behind us now.
Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Master Allen73, this Redditor wrote, "Me and my girlfriend are asleep at 3:55 a.m. when the door closes on its own. There is a door stopper holding it in place. I'm always very skeptical of the paranormal and other footage I have captured, but this one..." Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about. There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. ASAP Rab wrote, "I'm sure you've noticed, but just after 31 seconds, there's some kind of particle or orb going straight up near the bathroom entrance. Creepy footage." And the uploader replied saying, "Honestly, I had not noticed it. I'd been concentrating on the door looking for shadows." While TCG Games wrote, "How many days do you wake up and your door is closed? Was the heater or the air conditioner on? Has this happened in the past?" And the uploader replied saying no, this was the first time in 8 months. With or without the AC running, it's never closed on its own. Can you think of any other explanation for this footage? I think there's a good chance there's a ghost also in this bedroom. If you're going to cage a phantom, you're going to need a bigger door. Posted by Wokayahoga. This footage shows you can't keep a ghost locked up. The hunters are holding an EMF meter toward a locked set of doors. After a moment, something pounds against the door and then rattles it, trying to get out. I'm not sure what the context of this video is, but one thing's certain, whatever's inside is not staying there. A paranormal investigator named Exist wants to see if ghosts exist in an abandoned funeral parlor in South Korea. In this stairwell is where they record the strongest evidence of paranormal activity. Something is at the bottom of these steps, according to their readouts. Snapchat finds activity in the corner. It looks like a ghost in a white dress with her back turned, long black hair. They don't dare go down there and confront her. Instead, they sum up a music box that is hand cranked at the top of the steps and see if she will come to them.
이놈의 보세요. 저거 진짜
I'm not sure if a ghost is really doing this, or if they were in control. If someone has more information about the paranormal equipment they're using here, then let me know if this part is real, or if they have a secret way to control it. So much energy surrounds them that the music box never stops playing. They have to manually turn it off, satisfied that this experiment was a success. Next, he records his Snapchat filter to see if any faces are caught coming up the stairs. Instead, he gets something even scarier. Something walks right by them, opens the door, and holds it open for them. They respect the spirit's wishes and politely leave. What do you see around this corner? Published by Arte Morbid and originally posted on TikTok by Haunted Wesley E. Manor. This short clip is just one more proof that the manor is truly haunted. In a very dusty chamber of the castle, watch the corner of the arched doorway closely. What appears to be the figure of a small boy with glowing eyes peeks out for a moment before pulling back behind the barricade. He seems to be hiding. Is this a ghost or some small kid playing tricks in the castle? Most in the comments comments think it doesn't look human and call it very creepy. What do you think? I think we are going to be left with more questions than answers for the time being. Could that flicker of light you see fast past be someone's soul? Published to YouTube by Tomato Superman to the Ghosts subreddit. This security footage from the Golden Cross Weatherspoon in Broomsgrove in the UK shows just what happens in old haunted places after dark. The security footage reveals a strange, iridescent pink light flash around the corner and down the hallway before vanishing. Tomato Superman says that he's a skeptic but admits he found this odd. He writes that the place has been closed for 3 weeks and that the alarms had gone off, which is why staff came in to check it out. This is what happens in the recording that seems to set off the alarms. He said the security system also started to break down immediately after. Many in the comments aren't sure what to think either, although some lean hard into the spirit world. And could this be something similar? A spirit making its presence known in this place? It certainly doesn't look like your everyday dust orb. Thomas Hayes has been hearing scary loud sounds lately. Strange scratching noises coming from inside of the wall, right next to where he sleeps at night. Anxiety mixes with fear as he dismantles the electric socket to investigate what's gone wrong behind the walls. And let me tell you, the source of the scary sounds is beyond creepy. He tries not to scream as he finds the wall is filled with an endless number of fried insects, roaches to be exact, and look at 30 seconds he absentmindedly flicks one off with his finger. That's not exactly the reaction I was expecting, and certainly not what I would have done, but I guess he was shocked at the time. Speaking of, I can't help but wonder how safe it is to prod around an electrical socket with a screwdriver in the first place. I know he probably turned the power off, but I feel like it could still hold a charge. Someone tell me in the comments. This ghost has had a few too many. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Best of Us. Here is yet another haunted bar whose resident ghosts' sauced up antics were caught on camera. Watch the bottles to the left of the bar. One bottle on the second shelf starts to nudge toward the edge. While a wet surface sometimes has that effect on items placed on that surface, it usually doesn't lead to this. After inching slowly toward the ledge, the bottle takes a sudden jarring leap, knocking a second bottle below it off the display. This doesn't seem like a natural progression. Rather, it seems like the bottle was yanked from the ledge by some unseen entity. Many in the comments relate their own stories of haunted bars, with Redditor Your Dumb Idiot chiming in. I used to work at a bar that was haunted. Always the same bottle thrown off the shelf in the morning despite me moving it to prove it wasn't a ghost. Well, many, including myself, wonder what these bar ghosts could possibly want from us by throwing bottles around. Redditor Tech Impaired has one theory. He writes, they just wanted some booze. I see what they did there. A YouTuber named Shiva the Vlogger goes to an old movie theater in India that is said to be inhabited by something not of our plane of existence. The interior is completely destroyed, as if something has stomped its way through here many times before. Nothing about it feels safe or abandoned. As they make their way from room to demolished room, they move in a hurry and try to record as much as they can as quickly as possible to avoid staying there for long. To be honest, most of the amateur footage is pointed at the ground, but at 7 minutes and 29 seconds they record a strange figure leaning out of the doorway to look at them. I think they probably would have immediately noticed something this big and ran away, so I'm pretty sure it's just a hole in the wall or something. But let me know what you see, and if you think it's a shadow figure like they claim it could have been. With the video title, Doberman versus Mailman, I think we're all expecting there's a dog at this street address who is really tired of seeing this mailman, and today it's going to deliver him a final message of its own to stay away. The mailman slowly approaches. Clearly, he's dealt with this Doberman before, but as the Doberman isn't doing the same slow approach, he quickly turns around and is soon being chased, running for his life. The dog catches up quickly and appears to snatch something from him and heads back to the house. The mailman's demeanor switches from terrified to looking like he's having a fun time. So maybe he was in on this from the start, or maybe he's happy the Doberman didn't try to snatch an arm or leg instead. The San Antonio Cemetery in Texas could be one of the scariest places in the world to go exploring if this video is real. A ghost hunter from the Paranormal Journal stands in total darkness when some creepy things are caught on camera, and despite the lack of light, what he experiences is downright terrifying. His paranormal equipment detects movement, and then a single word crackles across the spirit box in an odd staticky voice. He never shows us exactly where he positioned the motion detection equipment, so it could be detecting his movement or a gust of wind for all we know. But here's something weird. If you look closely, there is a strange phantom light at 29 seconds, the same moment that the motion detection alarm goes off, that soon fades away. I would say there's another investigator, but I think that he might have been exploring the haunted cemetery all alone that night. If so, I have no idea what this light is, and even if it was a member of his team, that still doesn't explain the odd voice moments later that says hello. This bike rider is about to get ghosted. Published by Scary Desk in February of 2022, a man on a motorbike stops in the middle of the road and he's looking down the street at something. A pedestrian also stops nearby and he seems to be looking at the same thing, which so far is off screen. After the pedestrian leaves, we see this. A shadow figure walks determinedly at the dude on the motorbike. As he gets closer, he disappears for a moment, but the man deliberately pushes his bike over as if to make a blockade between them and then runs off. The shadow figure suddenly reappears, and he surprisingly runs off too in the opposite direction. What is going on with this confrontation? It looks like the shadow was as afraid of the encounter as these guys were. What would you do if someone was stalking you? That's a decision YouTuber Near Shadows had to make while on the scariest randonautica of their lives. At this site, they come across a golden box amongst some trees and brush.
What is it? No way.
It's too cold for all this.
Come grab this.
I got gloves.
What is this?
When they lift it, they see it's bound with tape and fishing line.
Babe, it's like a weird box that's binded up.
I kind of see.
It has fishing line on it.
It has fishing.
Look at.
I don't want to. Oh.
Look at this. Oh my. You guys see that?
They examine it and discover something shocking.
Whoa.
What?
This says 50th anniversary on it.
50th anniversary?
Look, 50th anniversary. Not kidding.
Oh, wow. What does that mean?
Not kidding. The art.
When they open it up, this is what they find.
We're gonna get into this. What the heck? It's a balloon. It's a balloon. It's a balloon that has like 61, 16
balloons.
It sounds like there's rocks or something.
There's rocks up pebbles there. There you go.
What the heck?
With something inside them.
Do you feel anything in that one?
Yeah.
That one doesn't sell. That one sells empty.
There's little pieces of something in it.
Let me see.
Like, it almost sounds like, it almost feels like bullets or something. It's kind of weird.
And this clue?
It's a piece of paper. 6th Street. It's like a ripped up portion of a map, and it says 6th Street. Babe, we're on 6th Street.
When they open the balloon, they uncover a mystery.
What is that? It's a little bead, and it has the number 2 on it.
What do these numbers mean?
Good close-up. Pause this and...
They then notice some people watching them.
Who's this person walking over here?
Are they coming over here?
Come on, guys. Some freaking...
Please don't come over here.
Oh...
But they realize they're probably not here for them.
What was that?
I'm not touching it. Could be drugs in this neighborhood.
They open up the second balloon.
Oh, sure they're beads. These are big beads.
That's what she said.
Would you... Oh no. Dropped the bead.
The letters must mean something too, but what?
A-Z-S.
Near Shadows continues to follow this mystery of a missing persons case in their next video. I'm curious as to what these clues mean. I assume the girl who went missing was 16, judging by the balloon, and this is the 50th anniversary since she went missing. But as to the numbers and letters, I guess we'll have to wait for the series' next installment. Something materializes before the group during the scary Ouija session, published by Cazadores de Sombras in February of 2022. Two of the paranormal crew are in the middle of a session when one of them seems beyond freaked out. In the middle of the session, they sense someone in the hallway or the next room. They go in search of the spirit but find nothing. As they continue the session, the planchette flies across the board. It's not long before the head nun makes her appearance. They all jump away. Then they find the Ouija board in flames. Throwing it over, they turn to the crew member behind which the nun appeared. He's completely out of it, like he's been knocked out. They carry their friend out, but they're uncertain if they're safe from the nun. This is the type of experience that would practically leave anyone scared shirtless. A Reddit user named JMilka7 posted this weird doorbell camera video that she'll never forget anytime soon. I want to say that this is a bug, except it's glowing non-stop and appears to come together and then separate at 1 minute and 22 seconds. According to the accompanying post, this was the endpoint of some long beam of light that scanned his driveway all the way to his door and then back, over and over again, for about an hour between 9:40 and 10:40 at night. From the way she describes it, I wonder if someone had their house in their infrared sights and was waiting to take their lives. A strange white mist in a messy living room in San Francisco has the YouTube community crying paranormal. Whatever this is, it seems like it heads into the light and then abruptly disappears. I've seen a lot of paranormal CCTV videos, and I've never seen anything that looks or moves like this before. It can't be dust because it has two separate parts that move as one. So tell me what you think this is. A real ghost or something else completely different? Are we being possessed by shadowy forces without even knowing it? Posted on Blah Blah's channel in January of 2022. This scary video is trending in the Arabic-speaking YouTube community. The footage shows a woman walking a dirt path along a hillside overlooking a city. She is carrying a bag and she's alone. As the cameraman follows a short way behind, a mysterious and barely visible dark figure comes toward the woman on the path. The shadow figure runs right at the woman, but she doesn't notice it and continues on her way. Did the spirit possess her? Well, this captured our imaginations. As it turns out, after doing some research, I found the video is VFX produced by YouTuber Dark3. Still, the image will prompt you to look over your shoulder the next time you think you're alone. You never know what's behind you until it's too late. Rain pouring an abandoned railway house in the middle of nowhere. The scene is set for terror. Published to YouTube in August of 2020. Exploring with Danny follows Danny and Luke wandering through the forest in the stormy darkness. They finally arrive at the abandoned railway house, which looks undoubtedly haunted with the lightning flashing ominously overhead. Once inside, they begin exploring. Everything is torn apart. Windows are boarded up, graffiti on the wall. Danny claims that back in the 1800s, more than 30 people passed away on the railway line outside the house. Those are shoes abandoned on the stairs. They head up to the second floor. In the bedrooms upstairs, there are still clothes hanging on the wardrobe. Danny asks any spirit to make itself known by giving a bang or closing a door. He might regret asking. They head down the hallway and find a strong lock on the door. A piece of the door has been broken clean off. They enter the room and it looks like someone has been living there. A wardrobe stands in the corner. As they look around the room, suddenly the wardrobe is pushed aggressively over, revealing a woman dressed in white with a pale face and dark hair. Hidden in the corner, she starts to approach them. Needless to say, the explorers scream and flee the scene as though their lives depend on it, because they do.
Thanks, pal. Can be in that thunder. What's that noise? Probably rats.
A very similar sounding shriek to the so-called cougar. This one claims the sound is coming from none other than a monster from traditional Latin America folklore known as La Llorona. According to legend, La Llorona was the unloved mother of her two sons. Her husband loved his sons more than her, and also had an affair with another woman, causing La Llorona to break. She is said to have taken the lives of her two boys in a river in a rage, following them in grief by taking her own alongside their bodies. Now she wanders the earth in search of the souls of her sons. The terrifying wailing of her grief is heard throughout Latin America. Those who hear her cries are said to face misfortune or even have their lives taken, so maybe just to be on the safe side, turn down the volume for this one. Published to YouTube in September of 2018, the horrifying demonic scream at the start of the video definitely doesn't sound human. In fact, it makes you want to urge whoever is filming to get someplace safe, fast. Instead, he films outside on the rain-filled streets at night as La Llorona screeches demonically in an animalistic cry. Shortly after, a more human-like woman's weeping is heard. The man approaches the phantom voice in the darkness. It's difficult to make out a figure in all this, but he speaks to her, and she responds, which makes one think this is a real human woman making these sounds, not La Llorona after all.
¿Tienes dulce? ¿Tu esposa?
After a while of the man chatting back and forth with her and then answering his radio, the woman falls silent. Barry in the comments says, "I understand Spanish. She seems to have multiple personalities. Was that inhuman sound made by a human person? Someone with multiple personalities? Perhaps someone possessed? Or is this La Llorona in the flesh?" If you remember one thing about the forest, remember this: it's no place for the faint of heart. Posted by Mysterio Canal in January of 2013, this video purports to show a fire witch in the forest. Translated from Spanish, Mysterio writes, "The video amateurs pursued an alleged witch on a road in southern Mexico. Running into it several times, managed to capture it in detail, looking like a being of flames or a witch. It is worth mentioning that there are many physical phenomena that can explain this event, but you have the last word." The video shows a glow in the distant darkness that shines for a moment before dimming to black. The amateur videographers are driving down a dark and bumpy dirt road at night towards the glow. Then in the midst of the road, the orange light again appears, igniting a figure in the road. What is it? Could it be the rare Fire Witch? According to Fixpedia Fandom Wiki, a Fire Witch is a rare figure in folklore that can either heal or destroy in an instant, and of course their primary source of power is the ease at which she can manipulate flames, using her ability to cause unseen destruction. These witches aren't only here to destroy, however. They are also masters at healing and may heal if they so choose. Is this mystical figure captured in the forest good or evil? Let's hope she uses her powers for the better. You're never alone on an amusement park ride. This phantom will make sure of it. Published to YouTube by Eli Zix in September 2015, the following footage will have you looking twice. The clip shows 3 women and a man riding the pirate ship at an amusement park, swinging back and forth. At the beginning of the clip, there are clearly 3 women there, but as the video ends, the 3rd woman on the end has completely vanished. Where did she go? Did she fall off the ride? Disappear somehow? Or was she ever really there at all? Some in the comments claim that this girl passed away on this ride 2 years prior to when this video was filmed. This is all hearsay, but who knows? The truth has to be out there somewhere. Everyone knows seedy stuff happens under bridges, and YouTuber Last Leaf Studio found evidence of this in July of 2016, posting a video entitled, "Some Creature Creeps Under the Pedestrian Bridge in Kiev." The footage shows traffic passing by on a highway in Ukraine's capital as the cameraman is posted alongside a pedestrian walkway. Scanning the scene, the camera lands on the pedestrian bridge overhead. Look closely here. Beneath the bridge, you can see a large creature, apparently somehow holding onto the underside of this bridge, creeping across it bit by bit. You can even see its limbs move as it makes its way across. At first in darkness, the figure makes its way towards the light. A close-up of the creature reveals that this figure is distinctive. Its outline and limbs seem to be that of a human, or at least that of a humanoid creature. But what human can traverse the underbelly of a bridge like that, and why would they? The other option is that it's something with an immense amount of strength. What do you think it is? This YouTuber takes his girlfriend on an adventure to go exploring a tunnel that's said to be quite haunted. The Blue Ghost Tunnel in Ontario is close to a graveyard that was not properly relocated and still has hundreds of unmarked burial sites. Well near the entrance, Jack hears strange sounds in the sky that sound like a train horn, but there's just one problem.
I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but listen in the background.
Trains would derail so often that the tunnel was soon condemned, so I have no idea what that sound was. When they get through the boarded up entrance, from deeper in the tunnel comes the voice of a little ghost girl calling for help. It could just be a squeaky piece of machinery, but I don't think so.
Hello?
A mysterious light way far ahead makes them both leave quick. You can see it comes from way too far ahead to be a part of their equipment, and besides that, they claim to not even have flashlights anyway. I don't know why you would go exploring a haunted tunnel without a flashlight, but I guess they weren't intended to go very far. Little did they know they wouldn't even make it past the entrance without getting freaked out. Can a person passing away stop the clocks? This video posted by LMonkA7X to the Ghosts subreddit calls that into question. Monk explains in the comments that his partner was working the night shift at the hospital when a patient passed at 3:11 a.m. Porters arrived to transport the body around 45 minutes later. Not long after, a nurse was logging the passing in the computer when she observed a clock's hand spinning rapidly. The passing was logged into the computer at 4:10 a.m., and a minute later the clock stopped spinning at 4:11 a.m., exactly an hour after the man's passing. While Monk admits to ordinarily being a skeptic, his partner's reaction to what happened, as well as everyone else's in the ward, convinced him that this was no practical joke, this was real. All who paid witness to the odd timing were shaken up over it. Being that the clock is analog and not digital, Monk suggests it's strange that the clock stopped on the exact right time of day after going berserk. He also believes that the whole thing was paranormal, being that the clock's actions coincided with the passing of the patient and the processes surrounding it. What do you think? Coincidence or not? The people of Reddit are on both sides of the fence. Either way, the timing couldn't have been creepier. This ghost hunter crosses into haunted territory with only his faith and a camera. Caught on tape is a giant unknown creature that does some really scary things. 11 minutes and 28 seconds is when they notice the shine of its eyes.
ये यार ये देख लाइट लग रहा है यार कमरे के अंदर से हाँ ये देख ओफ अल्लाह देखा रिकॉर्ड किया लाइट लग रहा
Lying on the roof is something much larger than them.
ये अल्लाह ऊपर ये देख आज तक ये क्या है यार रहीम हाँ वो मामूली नजर आ रहा है देखो मामूली नजर आ रहा है ओ इधर ओ अल्लाह अकबर
A mysterious figure peeks from the window. Watchful eyes retreat down the roof as they approach.
हाँ दिख रहे अस्तगफिरुल्लाह दिख रहे अल्लाह ऊपर ये देख अस्तगफिरुल्लाह ये क्या है अल्लाह ये देख यार पैरानॉर्मल शोज में पहली दफा दुनिया में यार इस तरह की कोई चीज अस्तगफिरुल्लाह अल्लाहु अकबर.
Footsteps turn them around, but nothing's there, and when they turn back, the figure is in the window again, along with the creature above. What is this bizarre thing looking at them from the doorway? And is it paranormal? I think it could be. Unidentified flying device sightings, ranging from Manhattan to Brazil, is enough to make anyone at least a little nervous. A YouTuber named Lazara Black saw this bright soundless blip moving fast across a Miami night sky on March 19th, 2020. It pauses in midair and is soon joined by another ball of light that moves effortlessly and without noise. Whatever these are, they aren't a normal aircraft, and they certainly aren't slow falling flares. A second Miami YouTuber named James Black confirms this sighting with a second video, also uploaded on March 19th, 2020. The glowing orb is too big to be a drone and moves so quietly that you can hear the nighttime crickets chirping away. Listen.
Do you feel aware of this thing?
About a week later, this Manhattan sighting was uploaded by YouTuber Plumber33789 Peebles. What looks like a lightning storm produces no visible bolts, and then the same familiar lights rise together in a triangular pattern. All of them fly out of sight, but this final one simply disappears into the clouds, so I'm guessing that's what the rest did as well. Did we just witness a fleet of unidentified flying devices taking off? I think so. And I've saved the weirdest video for last. This was taken on March 13th by a YouTuber in Brazil named Frederico Mueller, who has been seeing these strange lights for months now. This video proves that they are abnormally bright, perhaps even radioactively so, to the degree that they burn bright white even when behind a cloud in broad daylight. And his dogs are going crazy too, the kind of restless barking when danger is approaching. Not quite here yet, but soon. While exploring the Mount Morris Mystery House, YouTubers Spirit Walk Paranormal tried to unlock the mystery. As one of the crew is explaining about the strange happenings in the house, something strange occurs right in front of them.
Second girl disappeared completely. The second girl disappeared completely.
And then another one.
While I'm talking to the guys, a strange anomaly appears in the top left corner of the frame and moves right in a strange manner. I don't think this is an insect because of the transparency, and dust normally shows up in a sphere-like shape, but I cannot claim this is paranormal.
I'd say that was probably dust, but some things are harder to explain, and more strange noises are heard.
Can you touch this, please?
The spirits apparently want to imprison them. Maybe so that they will have someone to talk to. What does this spirit want? It wants its presence to be known.
Here. There you are. Are you on my back right now? Can you get off? Can you get off, please?
But it also seems to be guiding them to something or to someone.
Can you come into this room?
Or maybe it's warning them.
Are you trying to get our attention to the attic?
Although some of these EVPs are a bit of a stretch, I think, others seem very distinct, I do think something is trying to communicate with the paranormal team in Mount Moore's mystery house, but who or for what reason is anyone's guess. Sometimes ghosts are just forewarning you about what's around the corner. YouTuber Paranormal Voyages shares this freaky short in which he's speaking to a spirit through a spirit box.
I just seen a shadow. Who's that? Was that you?
Whoa! The spirit literally tells him the bat's in, and a moment later, whoa! Well, the bat's in. It feels pretty hard to be a skeptic after that series of events. A YouTube channel called Finsk Dashcam is simply a collection of videos from a person's drive to and from work. One upload has thousands more views than any other because of how creepy it is, and also because it's difficult to come up with a satisfying way to explain it. So Finsk is driving to work when someone forces him to the other lane. As he's getting closer, he discovers it's an older woman standing in his lane. She remains suspended in this position and does not so much as turn her head to acknowledge him. In fact, we never see her face at all. Does she even have one? Light snow covers the cars, but does not cover her, so she could have not been standing here for long. Still, it is very cold out, and yet not once do I see any indication of her breath. Is she alive? A ghost? Finsk slows down, and I want to say he helps her, but the video ends before we get a chance to really see. This was made in 2017, and no update has been provided, so I guess what happened next will have to stay a mystery. The Great Salt Air in Salt Lake City is full of secrets. YouTube team Broken Wings Paranormal joins forces with Cold Spot Paranormal and discovers a giant figure is lurking in this spooky place.
Is he dancing? Can you raise your arm? Like this? Wave high? Hand up?
They capture the figure on the Kinect device in a dark room. Is it a giant?
Look how huge that is.
I know. Can you bend over and touch your toes?
It's growing. Its head is like almost off the screen on the little side.
Josh tries to reach out and touch it, and he feels something supernatural.
No, but I feel tinglies on my fingertips.
Stand up and let's see what happens. Oh, look at it leaning the other way.
It's like it's propping itself up with its elbow.
As Josh gets closer, the entity disappears.
Where he is. Oh,
he left.
You put your arm on it now.
You touched him and he left.
And he just...
Really?
Yeah, the minute you make contact.
In a surprising turn of events, it looks like the ghost got frightened by the living. It seems to me that Josh entered the spirit's personal space, and they didn't like it at all. Earl Kirkendall captures a bright light in the sky, but it's not a meteor, lightning, or an unidentified flying device. It's his poor neighbor's house erupting. This video is terrifying because of how calm everything is before, during, and after. There's no warning signs beforehand, and seconds later, you'd never know a family's entire livelihood has gone up in flames. Even scarier, a cause for the incident has is yet to be determined, meaning anyone in the neighborhood could be next. Build it and they will come, but maybe you don't really want them to come after all. Published by Grant Kopek in October of 2020, something creepy calls this cornfield home. Captured on a Ring camera, a homeowner is seen walking outside at night on the farm, but appears not to notice the enormous creature escaping from the cornfield in the background. As the man walks past, the large blurred figure moves from the cornfield toward a big garage to the left. It disappears behind some shadow in the background. Many in the comments think this is a ghost or an extraterrestrial, while others think it's simply a reflection from the man's jacket, although it very well could be the latter. YouTuber Master of None offers some great advice for the farmer. Don't sleep ever again. If I lived beside that cornfield, I'd have to say I'd be doing the same thing. This YouTube clip serves as video evidence of just how daring some people can be, or brave, if you look at it the other way. The footage is likely recorded in Russia's Far East, where a large population of bears roam free, bears that have been known to wander into residential areas. In the video, one of these bears has done just that. A big brown bear is seen pacing around an empty lot, while a Russian man just sits calmly on a bench, not making the faintest effort to move or protect himself. In fact, he seems completely unfazed by the wild animal just feet from him. Surprisingly, the wild bear seems more scared of the Russian than this man is of the bear. As the bear roams closer toward him, he suddenly darts away, though the man never moves an inch, while most people would be shaking in their britches in an all-out panic when within sight of a bear. This Russian man doesn't flinch. Maybe we can learn something from him. If you should ever be unfortunate enough to encounter this wild animal, it's best not to panic. Just don't be as nonchalant as this guy. Ring doorbells seem to capture more than you were bargaining for. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by Yakuza Disco Man. This Redditor is wondering if what he's caught on his Ring doorbell is paranormal. The security camera shows a wide shot of a street outside his home with several parked cars along it. Nothing unusual, that is, until this ghostly figure streams past in the darkness. The semi-transparent phantom appears like he's trailing fog. Is this a spirit on a nighttime stroll? Redditor Noob Vin reigns on our ghost hunting parade, writing, "This is a camera glitch due to low lighting, and the way the Ring camera saves space with video and images, it's looking for pixel changes, and with low light, it is only detecting a fraction of the actual image, which makes the image appear transparent," noting that it's not really a glitch per se, but rather the design of the camera in order to reduce high bandwidth. Noob Vin is pretty sure it's not a ghost. Others suggested that the Redditor reenact the event under these same conditions to see if he can replicate this. Let's hope he does. Better safe than sorry. Nevertheless, I genuinely think this footage is creepy. A man on a train awakes to find someone staring at him in a weird way, a ghost in the window to be precise. The pale figure doesn't move, supposedly locking eyes with the passenger, who at this point is beyond creeped out, feels watched, and thinks this is some scary stuff to wake up to. When zoomed in, it could be the reflection of something inanimate, though of what I'm not so sure. Whatever it is, the transparent outline of a face is still visible nonetheless. If you still can't see it, look on the right side of the window and you'll see a weird face with a long, narrow nose and all black eyes pressed against the glass. I assume the person who caught this on camera takes this train often and has never seen anything like this before. So what could this strange sighting be? This short clip was taken at an unidentified prison that is most likely abandoned. This is an actual creature coming out of the darkness, or are the shadows just playing tricks on you? I will say that there are signs of editing. The dust is swirling a lot faster than normal, which makes me believe that this footage was sped up. It could have been a normal person dressed in all black, quietly walking up and then backing away, which would look very paranormal when sped up like that. Maybe the video was sped up for some other reason and is in fact real. Next time you're in India, cruising in the UP, you might want to avoid driving in the rain. This couple was nearly consumed by an unseen pit or manhole. Thankfully, bypassers came to their aid. After the couple was pulled to safety, I'm sure there wasn't much that could be done to save the scooter. The husband was a cop, and both did not walk away from the incident unscathed. I think this serves as an example to exercise extreme caution when driving through any body of water. Mature footage was shot somewhere in an underground sewage system. The cameraman is presumably a maintenance worker who is wearing a chest cam. Little did he expect to find a humanoid down there with him. The video begins with the cameraman seemingly frozen in place. The camera is very still, as if the maintenance worker is too afraid to move. Maybe he heard a noise and is waiting for a creature to reveal itself. Suddenly, a pair of floating eyes peer at him from the distance. The eyes appear to belong to some sort of nocturnal predator. They reflect so much light that all you can see are two gigantic white dots that are roughly as wide around as flashlights. The humanoid does not appear to have much experience with humans and seems apprehensive as it peers around the corner. It decides to run away and the cheap camera cuts out before we can see any more of the chase. The creature seems incredibly fast and probably got away, but exactly what happened next is anyone's guess. The video footage survived, so the cameraman probably did as well. Then again, maybe they recovered it from his dead body instead. There's just not enough information out there to say for sure. Be careful, a witch is out and about. YouTuber Nikolai from Seeker of Ghosts is making his way through these dark woods when he spots a glowing light.
Там я вижу какое-то свечение. Камера не передаст, но там кто-то сидит. Вот. Кто-то там находится.
He circles around and captures the glow again.
По этой стороне дороги идет тень. Проблема в том, что я не вижу, что у меня под ногами.
He gets closer and says it looks like a woman.
Вот она идет. Это, походу, какая-то женщина по телосложению.
Is it a witch?
Твою мать, его Андрей Петрович. Кто-то стрings еще.
It's looking more and more like that's the case. After she leaves, Nikolai approaches where she was doing her ritual and finds this.
Ёб твою мать.
Looks like voodoo to me. As Nikolai examines it, the witch approaches.
Какого Она сюда идет, ёб твою мать.
He escapes, but just barely. I hope the witch doesn't find a little Nikolai-shaped voodoo doll, or he may be next. Things aren't what they seem in this scary video. Redditor Amanda Loves Rufus 1 posted this clip of her neighbor's house. Watch the counter closely. Something neon blue seems to escape from the counter. Watch again. It looks like a flame bursting upward, but it disappears within an instant. Those in the comments seem to agree, with some saying it looks like gas igniting. Could this be a gas leak? Or as others suggest, a camera glitch? I think these homeowners should check their carbon monoxide and gas detectors, just in case. Walking down an empty hallway can sometimes send shivers all over your body, especially when the hallway looks like this. Spurgburglar from Washington in the US uploaded this spooky video video in 2016. He says that his flat is upstairs, and he makes his way through this hallway in the middle of the night 6 days a week. The hallway in and of itself is spooky. The sound on top of it is nothing short of ominous. The noise certainly is thumping and rhythmic like music, but it's unclear what it is or where it's coming from. It gets louder as the uploader approaches the end of the hallway and the beginning of a new one. A new sound enters into the mix, like a heart pounding. While the thumping declines, the heart pounding remains. Then you hear some sort of haunting music enter in faintly, before it escalates the closer he gets to the elevator. The video of the hallway also distorts a bit. Your heart races as you anticipate a jump scare from something unknown, but when he pushes the elevator button, the audio disappears. What could this possibly be? I don't know if I want to know. It's midnight when this ladder starts walking by itself in an apartment building garage. It looks like it has to be the work of a ghost, but it's actually on a very gradual ramp moving down. This middle section of the ladder, called a spreader, looks like it's too worn out to lock in place anymore, and so the ladder almost tips over and then catches itself, taking another step forward in the process. But still, somebody has to bump the ladder first to get it moving, so if this just spontaneously happened out of nowhere, then that's a cause for concern. Captured in Wentzville, Missouri in late September 2022, Redditor I Use This For Work 420 posted this intriguing unidentified flying object footage. The multicolored light appears like a glowing ray.
What the is that, man?
As the crowd watches, it streaks across the sky and disappears. You can even see some in the audience pointing in the air, tracing the light as it shoots off. While the crowd's reaction seems genuine, others point out that no one else has their phones out recording, which in this day and age seems unlikely. Others in the comments are thinking this is a spotlight or CGI put in later after the reaction video was staged. I tend to think this was staged too, more due to the fact that no one else is recording than due to the light itself. What do you think is going on here? A Russian police officer is roaming the snowy countryside when he comes in close contact with a creature that has since never been identified. The officer is traveling at a low rate of speed when suddenly something huge dashes across his headlights. The strange figure is only visible for a moment, then it's gone. Many YouTubers suspect this to be a Russian Yeti. Others are sure that it's a man in a suit or even someone who is completely naked, though this theory is hard to believe because a person in Russia would probably freeze to death if they stood outside naked for very long. Look closely and you'll see that whatever it is, it's moving quite fast. It only takes the thing about 5 or 6 steps to fully get away, and I should mention that the snowbanks on both sides of the tracks appear to be very deep. An average-sized person would be struggling way more to get over them. Zoom in and you'll see what looks to be white fur hanging off of its body. Also, it looks to be hunched over and its arms almost touch the ground. If this is a costume, it's very convincing. Anthony lives around a bunch of abandoned farmland that he has always wanted to explore. So he takes his camera and spends the whole day poking around. He doesn't know anything about the history of this land or why it was abandoned, but the more he discovers, the less alone he feels.
There's a bed in here.
Hello?
The buildings are all single-story structures in various states of decay, and each one is somehow distinctly lonesome in its own way. By the time he comes across the main house, he is very jumpy and senses eyes on him from afar. Tell me if you hear whispering during this part when he opens the door.
It's furious.
I guess it could just be the creaky springs of an old screen door or something, but it really does sound like it could be voices. Anyway, the inside of the house is pretty well kept, especially compared to the other buildings, yet the unrelenting unholy aura only grows stronger with each step he takes. At one point, an abandoned nursery room literally makes Anthony nauseous. Surely something bad must have happened here.
This was a kid's room, and I feel so uneasy. I feel dizzy.
Anthony manages to check out the rest of the house, even the basement, without incident. He's ready to leave altogether, but there's just one final surprise left for him on the way out.
What the f was that? Something literally kicked the door.
The door abruptly closes with a short and impolite slam, the exact kind that homeowners use when they are upset with someone for being at their door. I don't think Anthony shut the door by himself because he was out of arm's reach when it happened, and maybe it's just me, but I think I can see some kind of shadowy mist in the window on the right. Coincidentally, in the same room he was just in. While visiting an abandoned mental hospital in Allentown, Pennsylvania, Spirit Realm Investigations captured what they believe is an apparition on camera. Watch the bottom right window, followed by the middle windows. Did you see that? Something seems to peek out and then shift between these two windows. To me, the shape in the bottom right window is convincing. It looks like a figure peeking out and then vanishing, but I think that could just be a reflection of light as the camera moves. It does seem to move in pace with the camera's movement, but the first one doesn't. That's for sure a legit apparition peering out at us. This century-old home has YouTuber Llama Paranormal on their toes. Paranormal activity has increased daily, and this is one of their craziest captures yet. He starts recording after hearing something.
Every single night nearly now. Just weird things, but I only capture minor stuff. What the man? Oh my
Although the door alarms him, I find the aggressive shaking of the curtains at the start of the video even more unnerving. But then as he gets up to check it out, things get creepier.
Poor
Oh. Whoa. It all turns sideways, and then this happens.
Oh, see what I mean? See what I mean? What the fuck?
After all that, watch the gray item on the white table to the right.
Oh my mate. Oh my.
If I were Llama, I wouldn't be headed upstairs. I would be out of that house, and then I'd suggest burning it to the ground. A user named Josiah Worley has some of the best paranormal evidence on TikTok of a ghost haunting his room on the attic floor. He's recording his game table after a card leaped off the deck, and soon a cup is moving by itself. Or more accurately, a ghost is moving the cup if you ask Josiah. He handles the cup immediately after, and you can see there's no string. On another night, with one hand on the camera and the other hand on the mattress, Josiah watches an object move by itself.
Mom?
And later it crawls across the floor.
Bro. Are you good, bro?
You good, bro? Do you see any strings? Did you guys see it move?
There are no editing cuts when he walks up to the medicine bottle. This object moved on its own. This happens night after night until finally he tries to communicate with the ghost. He makes the mistake of acting annoyed, which I think ramps things up considerably.
What's good? You're kind of making noises. You're kind of being really loud. It's really irritating.
Okay. In my opinion, the ghost wants nothing more than to be acknowledged, but Josiah wants nothing more than to be left alone. It's a conflict that's bound to create paranormal tension in the long run. The paranormal activity doesn't stop, and so he gets in the habit of recording his room all of the time.
It's almost sunrise. Almost sunrise. What was that? Where'd that go?
This ghost orb in particular curves around and appears in front of him when he wants to know what it is. The caption says maybe I should ignore it, but in my opinion that will only make things even more unpleasant for him in the long run. I think the ghost hates being ignored and is moving objects because it refuses to go unheard. I don't think it wants Josiah out of the apartment. When he says he's going to move out is when it becomes absolutely enraged.
I'm gonna end up leaving.
If anything, it wants him to keep it company forever. Josiah decides to use a ghost hunting TikTok filter called the reality ripple to finally catch a ghost sighting on his phone camera. It isn't long before objects are moving on their own again, and the colors on his screen change to indicate a ghost is near.
Do you guys hear that? No, that doesn't make sense. No, stop.
While looking at the still frame, gaze into the paranormal energy. You can see a yellow phantom figure reaching out. I've circled its head with long hair and pointed at its arm to help you better see it. The figure seems to be grabbing at the area where the object fell over. All of this creeps Josiah out badly enough to ask the ghost, point blank, to do something specific if he's safe.
I got one question for you. Am I safe? If I am, then please knock over the cups. Oh, you saw that.
A cup does not move by itself, but the ghost does push a bag off the table. This is definitely a reply, and I guess it means that he's not safe because it moves a different object than the one he asked it to. Ever since then, things have quieted down, so maybe Josiah just needed to ask for permission to live here, or maybe this strange and cryptic poltergeist is biding its time, letting him lower his guard before moving on to the next phase of his horrible haunting. While exploring deep inside the Cave of Mounds, YouTuber Near Shadow starts to hear whispers. Listen closely.
Oh, you're like, hold on. What was that? What was that? What is that? Hello?
Later, you can definitely hear a child's voice in this larger cavern.
It looks like it's like gonna fall. Look.
It does. This is cool.
Yeah, there's so much moisture that you don't know, like, look how wet that is, and then you can't.
The team doesn't appear to hear this in the moment. To me, the voice sounds a lot louder than the earlier whispers. Is there a child spirit trapped in the Cave of Mounds? I think it's time to send in the cave divers. The Sonora Inn was built in 1896 and is infamously haunted by many a spirit. Thomas writes that he worked night shift there in 2018 as he was setting up for breakfast at 5 a.m. This is what was captured on security camera. Watch the bowl he places on the counter in the top right corner. Let's see it again. Do you believe in this dining room poltergeist? I feel it might be a case of the wet surface of the bowl acting as a lubricant. After all, he did say it was a bowl of ice, but that's just my theory. What do you think? Does YouTuber Mo Sarchi have a demon fire starter on his hands? Watch as he tries to communicate with the demon in his haunted abandoned house.
What are you, a demon?
Did you see that? Keep an eye on the top of the screen near the doorway. It looks like something is manifesting from the ground.
What are you, a demon? What are you, a demon?
Then this happens.
Did I just see that thing move?
Yes, you did, Mo. Mo heads upstairs to check on things a while later, but hears the REM pod go off, and then he finds this.
Oh my. Oh my. What the just happened?
What?
Oh my.
As Mo examines the remnants, he hears another unexplained sound.
It's broken. Look at that, guys. The bottle broke.
What is that? I'm pretty sure that was the demon, and by the sounds of it, he's sick of Mo's shenanigans. A remote shanty house in the middle of nowhere. It's gotta be abandoned, right? Posted to r/ghosts by Livid Excuse 1640. This video reminds every paranormal explorer to be always on their guard. The Redditor is driving down a dirt road at night in what appears to be the boonies with no lights around apart from a faint, distant glow. And yet in the middle of nowhere, they come upon a rundown white house. It's dark and clearly abandoned, or so you think. As the Redditor drives slowly past, shining a flashlight onto the house, he spotlights its empty and broken windows, nothing else. That is, until he zooms in on a center window. Here appears a white hooded figure without discernible features. The realization of what they're seeing scares them enough to drop their camera and drive away, while many Redditors in the comments believe the figure is a squatter rather than a ghost. This sighting at an assumedly abandoned house would be unsettling regardless. The Redditor writes in the comments, "I've been in the house once and it's like the people living there just up and left clothes in closets, dishes in the sink, toys on the floor. It was wild. I got halfway down the hallway and something that felt like pure evil came over me and I ran back out." He also shares some still photos with varying exposures that he took from the clip. What do you see in the Rorschach ink blot? This is only a test. Ruptured asphalt, a volcano of water, mud flooding an entire street. That's what happened in Ukraine's capital of Kiev in May of 2017, published by KVN. This incident occurred due to a 2-meter wide pipe breaking while work was being done on a water canal. The footage shows the very moment the volcano breaks through the asphalt, toppling over garbage cans and gently nudging the cars in its path out of the way. Another camera angle captures just how high the mud reached. According to reports, the mud slushy hit all the way up to the 7th floor of a building. Miraculously, no one was harmed in the event, but some of these cars definitely needed a few runs through the car wash. Christian Garcia and a couple of his friends are riding around on a motorcycle late at night through the streets of Mexico and are enjoying their night when suddenly they come across something absolutely terrifying and startling on the road. Right here. This seems to just be a really sort of like isolated road in the middle of nowhere. It's clearly nighttime, and this individual is just sitting out here staring off into the distance. I wish they would have asked if they needed help. Instead, just sort of take off. but I guess they do decide they should turn around, which is the right thing to do, so respect to these guys.
Hola, señora. ¿Qué dice? ¿Qué? ¿Quién es? ¿Qué le pasa? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿Cómo se llama? Está en medio de la nada, ¿no? ¿Le pasa algo?
If anybody who speaks Spanish could please translate what was said in this conversation, but I assume they were asking if they were all right, to which they get no response from the stranger, and I think eventually just decide, yes, to just take off.
¿Le pasa algo?
Even when Christian and his friends drive back to where the mysterious stranger is sitting down on the side of the road, doesn't really seem as though they are trying to talk to her too much, and I guess it makes sense because she is a complete stranger, and you never know exactly what a stranger is capable of. I just hope this person is okay and isn't suffering from any problems, but if they are, I hope they will be okay in due time. If you heard this sound in the middle of nowhere, what would you do? Instagram account Cryptid University posts this video taken at a borrowed cabin in the middle of the forest. Listen closely.
This time.
I don't know about you, but I got absolute chills from this audio. Listen again.
What is it? Why am I doing it?
Is this a skinwalker? I think it might be, and if so, it's actually closer than we think. Sometimes evil energy sticks around a place long after bad things have happened there. This is one of those cases. YouTuber Brittany Crab posted this video in June of 2014 writing, exploring a scary haunted bridge that is haunted by a boy named Douglas riding a bike and a creepy man. So scary. Brittany says in the video that she's in the woods near her house, looking for an old bridge near which a young boy had his life taken. According to Brittany, the boy was riding his bike, and the man was standing near the bridge and offered him candy, but when the boy approached, the man took his life and shoved him in the pond beneath the bridge. People who visit this bridge feel a bad energy there, and they believe it's haunted by the boy Douglas. According to legend, you can hear the bicycle bell as he crosses the bridge. When she finally arrives at the bridge, she stands in the middle, feeling the creepy vibes everyone talks about, and as she's standing there, disturbed, the bicycle bell sounds, fleeing the scene.
I think I just heard the bike.
She claims she just saw the man, and somehow she gets lost. She returns to the bridge, but the bicycle bell rings again, causing her to drop her camera. Someone picks up the camera in the end, but who? And apparently this bridge and the story really do exist. Several in the comments mention knowing hearing the story. One YouTuber, Golden M, writes, I heard about that bridge and my cousin lives close by it in the woods, and she went to explore it and she said she heard the bike and she also saw the man and kid. Would you dare visit this bridge? I certainly wouldn't. May 17th, 2006 at 8:12 p.m., the Monterrey Witch of Mexico was caught on video flying just above the Mexican hills. She glides above the ground, just as you would imagine a witch to fly through the air, floating through the sky serenely. There's a good several yards between her and the hills below, with plenty of blue between. After the clear view of her dark shape against the skyline, her profile is shown as a white speck against the green hills as she skates across a canyon. The video goes on for a good 2 minutes, and it doesn't appear to be a hoax as the being traverses the cliffs. The figure is tall and cylindrical, flying across a very windy canyon, which makes some UFO researchers believe that it can't be normal. It must be paranormal. Diana Perla Chapa, a UFO group leader and researcher from Monterrey and a popular Mexican TV host and UFO investigator, confirms this. Experts say that there is no way something could move so steadily because it's a very windy canyon, she said, speaking at the Mutual UFO Network of Los Angeles conference. This footage comes from somewhere in the Middle East. A group of teenagers are curiously exploring an old school. They go up a flight of steps and pause when they hear a dog whining on the other side of the door. They all run down the steps and gather at the bottom. They're afraid of being attacked by a group of stray dogs now, but they decide to press on and explore the lower areas. The group finds bravery in their numbers and begins to joke and laugh again as they make their way down a long hallway. They open a door and find graffiti on the wall. Other people had been here before them. Maybe this place isn't so bad after all. The teens grow a little more nervous as they continue to poke around. They are laughing less and starting to go silent. Something just isn't right about this section of the building. A YouTuber named Zabin Jaguar translated their comments. He says at this point one of the teens say that their phone shut itself off even though it was fully charged only a moment ago. Another person was able to keep recording, though they probably now wish they hadn't. They enter one classroom in particular and get a dreadful feeling. Suddenly a figure actually appears out of thin air and walks towards them. The ghost is missing his head, but there's somehow no blood. A loud chanting begins as soon as the ghost walks towards them, but this may be prayers from a nearby mosque. Amazingly, the group all appears to have missed the ghost, which explains why they calmly continue to keep exploring. They wouldn't see the apparition until much later, but when they did, they would never forget what was heading straight towards them in that room. A YouTuber named Talk to Trending records a ghost video in Tamil, India at a haunted fort. An extremely powerful spirit is said to reside here, and the ghost hunters can't resist the chance to explore the abandoned building for paranormal traces.
நான் என்னோட கேமராமேன்ட்ட போகிறேன். நான் இங்கே தனியாக நின்றுட்டுருக்கேன். சுற்றி சத்தம் இதை மூச்சு வாங்குதே.
As they talk more about the haunted place, a ghostly apparition materializes behind them. It looks to be in the shape of a person wearing robes from head to toe, and when it moves out of sight, the ghost hunter looks over his shoulder where it would have been. I think this could be his paranormal sixth sense kicking in to keep him safe, but this could also simply be the way his flashlight plays against the stone wall behind him. Although it's weird that it takes such a human-like shape, tell me what explanation you think is true. A YouTuber named Ben S is low on gas, so he pulls into a nearby station. He always wears a GoPro helmet when riding, and as he is fumbling with the card reader at the pump, it records something that he will have a tough time explaining later. A shadow passes by close enough to make Ben react. He turns around only to find nothing. What's really strange to me is how, if you pay close attention, you'll see the shadow disappear before it even makes it all the way across the pump. It's going from left to right normally and then suddenly vanishes somewhere in the middle. I know that shadows can sometimes play tricks on you, so I'm not going to say that this is 100% paranormal. If you have a scientific explanation as to how this could have happened, please share. Until then, I am inclined to take Ben's word that this was a phantom figure. Lingering above the colony venue in Woodstock, New York, YouTuber Woodstock Webgirl captured this strange unidentified flying object on camera. What is that? Here's a closer look. One YouTuber says it's an airplane, but I've never seen an airplane appear round in form, even from a great distance. Airplanes also don't generally hang in the same spot for a long period of time. Well, I can't say for sure that it's extraterrestrial. It's certainly unidentifiable and flying, so it is technically an unidentified flying object. The adventurer Abdullah Al-Anbari goes exploring an abandoned building in Saudi Arabia in search of a poltergeist, or a jinn as it's referred to in the area. There are many floors to explore and each one holds horrors of its own.
No. في حد.
He turns around to see a mysterious figure that could be a djinn or more likely the shadow of the banister in front of it. He continues to explore and the paranormal activity continues to stay one step ahead of him. The ghost keeps throwing objects at him, guiding him in a way towards a final confrontation that he is not ready to witness.
No.
He looks up in time to capture a glimpse of a scary round face peering down at him. Tell me what he says to it on his way out. Whatever he says seems to cause him much anger based on what happens next.
ما راح اذيك ترى بس بتكلم معاك ولا راح اسمع لك شيء. هذا ما في هذا شو هذا؟ والله شيء غريب يا شباب.
He quickly leaves before the spirit becomes any more upset. If you're about to blame some nighttime mischief on your pet, hold off for a hot minute and watch this. Posted to the r/ghosts subreddit, Barton writes that his cat has been knocking things over at night for the past few weeks and waking them up, which is unlike him because he's a quiet cat during the day. So they set up a surveillance camera to try and catch him in the act. This is what they found. The first segment shows something fluttering the leaves of this flower on the table, but we know it's not the cat because he passes by the couch to the left. Later, as the cat is sitting on the couch, a dish towel falls from the fridge. Then an object is heard moving in the kitchen, and a close-up reveals the thing jiggling on its own on the counter. At the same time, a strange shadow appears on the front of the counter, although it's not clear if it's the cat being alerted to the sound or something else. Soon after, another object falls loudly from the countertop. Thus, we cannot see too well, nor do we know where the cat is. Then, after a strange orb moves through the scene, something else moves on the counter and is pushed to fall to the floor, all while the cat is perched on the table far away, watching. Then another object falls loudly next to it, which scares even the cat. This one wakes the owner up, who calls his cat a pain, but after watching the video in the morning, we're sure he regrets that. Was this cat, as some Redditors suggest, just protecting her owner at night? YouTuber Lomar Mendez and his team investigate a haunted funeral hall in this scary video. In the hall, they find a lift that was used to carry the bodies.
Yes. But we see the bodies up.
Wait, what? They used to use the bodies to... Whoa.
Literally like a casket-sized lift, you see?
Oh, yeah.
They also find a casket.
This is what I was talking about. Chelsea's getting some photos, but there's a casket in here. Is it the chairs are still on?
Angelo feels a tug on his backpack.
It literally felt like I felt as if somebody was grabbing the bottom of my backpack and just like slowly pulling.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Nearby, they discover a strange collection of stickers.
What?
Stickers and Jesus. Well, a bunch of
It's a little weird.
that was these donut cards. They were in for transplant.
Like a giant pine cone.
Then Chelsea hears something in the other room.
Listen.
What?
Listen, there's like a noise.
Where?
Coming from behind me. Hear that?
Maybe, I guess.
Repeating.
When they go to investigate, Angelo feels something touch him again.
Someone touched you?
Like, as if like something like, you know when somebody flicks you like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like.
I don't think it could be that. That's a different feeling, you know?
They ask the spirits who did it.
Can you tell us who touched Angelo? Oh, that said hello.
Dead.
Hello.
Who's here with us right now?
And they eventually find out his name.
Rick. Is your name Rick? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
As they get ready to head upstairs, Chelsea hears another noise.
What? You okay? What?
Did you hear
It's like a tap on the wall.
it? Oh. I did just ask for a knock.
Did you?
Yeah.
Back at the coffin, they examine it further, look closely at the Polaroid.
It's a photo? It's a Polaroid, but it's like faded.
Many YouTubers in the comments see a creepy figure in this picture. Do you see it too? Shortly after, they hear something.
But nothing said. You didn't hear that? It's like a flood. Not less.
We did ask him to follow us.
And later, on the second floor, they find an overhanging lantern swinging on its own.
This is no thank you. We were all in separate rooms. Do you think it could be the wind?
Is something following the crew around this funeral home? I agree with what Angelo said earlier. You'd almost hope that whatever is stalking them is a spirit, not something alive. A number of scary viral Russian 3 a.m. videos uploaded by Rostelman has everyone spooked, including himself. He wants someone to explain this mysterious event he keeps going through night after night, so let's help him out. This window is taking some serious punishment from an unseen force and at times sounds ready to break. One night, he can take it no more and makes one crucial mistake. He invites it inside. I myself would probably get reinforced steel bars installed on that window before opening it, but I guess he was trying to get a better look at whatever it was, and before you say he should have gone outside to see what it was, keep in mind it's late at night and freezing cold in Russia, so I wouldn't be in a hurry to confront this paranormal entity either. This strange anomaly was discovered on CCTV outside the workplace of Redditor, Phantom 881999's father at around midnight. The Redditor thinks it's an artifact, but those in the comments have other ideas. While it does look incredibly disturbing, I agree that the spottiness is due to video compression or a camera glitch. It is likely two people walking, one in black and one in white. The figure in white may be using a cane, but all things considered, I wouldn't rule out the idea of a three-legged demon. When UPS shows up at your door and you haven't ordered anything, be wary. Published to YouTube in May of 2020 by NeoSum. This Ring doorbell footage from a London home shows a man dressed in a UPS coat and holding a package ring the homeowner's doorbell. As he's waiting, he appears preoccupied on the phone. The homeowner answers, and that's when things go off the rails. A moment later, the man barges in, and three others come in after him. News reports from May of 2020 clarify that the suspects barged in, demanding a security box from the father. Two men were charged in the matter. All the more reason not to open the door to anyone. Blake Dunkley wants to document this old haunted grocery store, and he challenges you to prove him wrong. Noises always seem to be coming from one room away.
You hearing this? It's the creepiest building I've ever been in.
Some much more obvious than others. He heads up the stairwell to prove that this is real. I think this next part sounds like a door slamming shut from somewhere above, and I also think it sounds like he needed to get the heck out of there.
It's lighting up here. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. It's so loud.
On the second floor is a single door that is locked when Blake tries it. This is the only door heavy enough to cause the slamming noises coming from upstairs before, but it doesn't even open. The only areas left to check out are the break room and bathroom. Nothing of interest is in here, so he's just about to leave when he hears one final sound. In my opinion, this is the same door that was locked moments ago, now slamming one more time. Translated from Portuguese, the video's title, The Bride of the Train Line, gives us some inclination of what fears to expect. Published to YouTube by Ravana in July of 2017, a group of adventure seekers are wandering down a train track at night. For a long while, they walk without encountering anything unusual. In the darkness, there's no one for miles around. City lights twinkle in the distance, but the group appears to be far from town. As they walk and chat carelessly along the train tracks, the camera pans to the side for a moment, where it captures this figure in white. Terrified screaming ensues as the men turn to run back the way they came. The bride figure too appears to race away from the tracks, presumably back to her haunted wedding. Does this deter you from jumping trains at night? If not, then you might be next in line to catch the ghostly bridal bouquet. Old ship vessels are often known for their ghostly secrets. After all, they've seen the greatest evils on Earth in the name of battle. Published to YouTube in February of 2013, The Ghost Activity Abroad, this Navy ship, the USS Hornet, originally aired on DE episode 32. The crew member can be heard explaining how to use the EVP. When in the background of his discussion with the newbie, you can hear a strange voice, one that sounds like a little girl.
I'd like to speak to us. I'd like to speak to us.
It's hard to tell what the girl is saying without the voice being isolated in the audio file, although YouTube commenters have their theories. YouTuber Madcaps and Nemos writes, "It sounds like she said, 'Can you tell me why they forgot me?' Others here, 'Do you think they know they got me?' Some simply hear, 'Play with me.' What do you hear?"
I'd like to speak to us. I'd like to speak to us.
This video will definitely make you want to double check all of your wiring in your home. Eric McGregor takes one look at this discolored brown outlet and identifies a major problem.
It's catching on fire.
Amber sparks shoot out of the middle of a frayed wire that is still hot and fully charged. It looks like the wall is going to catch on fire at any moment, especially here, 23 seconds into the video. Eric calmly unscrews the outlet and plucks it free from the wall, which in turn trips the breaker and turns off all the power. I don't know if this is the safest solution, so you definitely shouldn't consider this video to be a tutorial of any kind, but his strategy does seem to work in this specific instance. Sometimes these kind of faulty wires can go undetected for months or even years. All it takes in the meantime is one random spark, especially late at night, to change everything forever. A YouTuber named Suspect Sky and his wife are convinced that something is waiting for them. Inside of their small closet, Suspect Sky slowly walks up to the closet and flings the door open. Prepared for conflict, only to find nothing inside, they are relieved for just a moment, and then decide to get out of the house anyway. Something is still in there waiting for them. They think they can feel its presence, and just want to leave as fast as they can, and when they looked at the video again later, they found out they were absolutely correct. Two friends are creeping around a forest in Granada, Spain when they stumble upon something they were never meant to see. The humanoid is likely hunched over its prey as the two approach. They accidentally make a noise and the humanoid's keen ears detect them instantly. It looks up from his meal, ready to attack. You can see that this creature is thin and bony. It looks skinny and sunken in, fast, with a high metabolism. Its reaction time seems way too quick for any ordinary person. At the Devil's Gate Dam, Kelsey Davies and her crew communicated with the ghost of a twisted individual who took many lives. As soon as they set up their devices, they start to get a reading.
I'm here. I just touched your boob, I'm sorry. I love how we both moved back. Like, it turned green. I know.
Then, shortly after, they come into contact with Val.
Are you here with us? Can you cross the dowsing rods into your ear?
They ask if she's near.
Seen the REM pods go off? Yeah.
Later, they come across a lot of strange debris.
Is that a wallet? What? What is all this? Someone's backpack? Their comb? Oh no, this is a lunchbox.
Does this stuff belong to those who lost their lives at the hands of Val? They return late at night and confirm Val's presence.
Val, is that you?
And they are given a warning.
Oh my Oh my god. Oh my right, it said leave. You said welcome to that flashed and it said leave, Joey. I have the chills.
I may be old school, but if the ghost of a life taker tells you to leave, I really think you should listen. Question: what's scarier than a theater at night? Answer: a haunted one. Published to TikTok, this appears to show the phantom caretaker of a haunted theater. Jay says the theater is supposed to be empty, but he keeps hearing a noise, so he's searching the theater to find its source.
Alright guys, so I work at this old theater and been hearing a noise. It's a really beautiful theater, as you can see, if you can see it at all. But I keep hearing a noise in here and there's not supposed to be anybody here, so...
Suddenly, he glimpses something in an upper theater box. He can't quite capture what it is, but after backing up a bit and zooming in, he manages to focus on this. It looks like the ghostly figure of a little boy dressed in a suit, although the image is blurry. The scary figure is distinctly there, leering out from a theater box. Phantom of the Opera? An intruder? Maybe he's just a ghost fanboy waiting patiently for the play to start. When YouTuber Hype Mike and his team open a crate in the basement of this haunted house, they encounter something horrifying. First, they must find something to open it with.
That's why it's here.
They're giving us the tools to succeed.
Oh my just opened. Yep. Good idea. A little bit more. 3, 2. What the?
That was the basement door slamming shut. They try to reopen it.
Open it.
It's not opening.
What do you mean it's not opening?
Did somebody close the door? It's not opening.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I saw something, it escaped. Like, it's like leaving the basement. That's what I saw, bro. Whenever I saw the shadow, it was walking away from the basement.
They return to the box and they find this.
Let's see. Oh my. What the hell? Look at this. Dude. Jesus. Holy sh.
Creepy stuff. Later, they break out of the basement, but they might live to regret it.
Find the
Oh, hold up. What? Oh, dude. My God. How? What the was that? I didn't touch that. No. Did anyone notice that?
Did that demon figure come down from the attic? Later, while reviewing some photos taken on her camera, one of the crew notices something truly creepy in the background.
During my spare time, whatever, and look.
What is that? What is it? What is it? Dude, will somebody here? What is that?
Like right behind me.
I didn't see anything. We didn't see anything.
Obviously, I didn't notice, otherwise I would have freaked out.
Is this the same figure captured on the Steadicam in the hallway? I think it might be, and although this is a production, if I were Hype Mike's team, I'd be out of there in a flash, because the call is coming from inside the house. This soccer match appears to be interrupted by a creature from another dimension. One team is about to go for a penalty kick, when a strange white figure literally runs through everyone in the crowd without slowing down.
Se viene el tiro libre. Atención. Mañana Ferreira. ¿Lo declaran? Ferreira, creo, eh?
I heard that this kind of effect could be a camera malfunction, but since everyone on the field is standing still, then I don't understand how this kind of glitch can happen. If someone has an explanation for this situation, then please let me know, because this definitely looks like it could be some sort of transparent creature to me. Can you imagine being a medical agent right now, forced to enter a lockdown territory? That's what this video apparently portrays, posted by Spicy Rice Photography to the Scary subreddit. The video shows the agent entering a dark and deserted apartment block. His walkie-talkie apparently has gone dark on his end. You can hear other agents, but he doesn't speak into it.
Jerry, it seems our comms are broken, and I can't hear a word they're saying.
He opens the door to an empty bathroom. Nothing untoward there. Next, he opens the door to an empty room. All that's inside is what appears to be a square red mat on the floor. A light source spotlights the mat. As the agent continues to breathe laboriously in the darkness, correspondents are regularly heard on the walkie-talkies. Suddenly, the agent starts to panic even more.
Jerry, your heart rate's spiking again. Is there any way to let you know if you're okay? I'm not checking.
His legs start moving and kicking, and in the darkness you can see why. The creepy figure of a girl with long black hair dressed in white is creeping toward him. As the agent tries desperately to move away, the girl only continues to slowly approach. The camera falls, white screening for a moment, only to capture one last shot of the girl in white, completely on top of him. While the agent may have been searching for survivors in the darkness, he probably regrets finding this one. Listed as creepypasta, this is still super creepy. A YouTuber named Kelsey Davies is investigating a haunted house in a neighborhood in California with a particularly nefarious history. After setting up a flashlight in the middle of an otherwise empty room, Kelsey and her team discover an oddly shaped anomaly traveling clockwise. Nothing is dangling above them to reflect light, so like them, I have no idea what this is, but I'm open to your guesses.
It's moving, its shape isn't shifting.
Yeah, this thing's been moving for like a long time. We don't know what it is.
At 1 minute and 55 seconds, Kelsey claims that the object turned into the outline of a face. I think it still looks the same as before, but tell me if you can see what she means.
Maybe I like see outlines of it. Like it looks like a head. Oh my god,
You can see it's like a body.
A remote-controlled robot is inspecting a 42-inch sewer pipe for anything out of the ordinary when it comes across a creepy find that will make your skin crawl. The water looks relatively clear at first, but then the camera operator looks down in time to see a wriggling mass of giant worm-like creatures the size of snakes. They are piled up so high that they almost breach the surface. I have no idea what these are, nor do I have any idea what so many are doing down here. Someone please help me identify what these creatures are, and while you're at it, let me know what the odds are of one climbing through the sewer pipes and into my home. Under the ancient city of Taif, Saudi Arabia, is a scary haunted cave tunnel that you don't ever want to go exploring by yourself. Famous ghost hunter Abdullah Al-Anbari has made a career out of fearlessly exploring such haunted places, but the question remains, will this haunted place scare him?
في شيء بسم الله الرحمن أنا مستخدم كشاف الراس.
So far, he's kept his cool among some scary things. Exploring the tunnel some more reveals that it's been walled off, and yet just when the ghost hunter decides to turn around and go back, something paranormal beckons him to stay. The cave is suddenly filled with scary noises and a strange mist that wasn't there moments before. He waits for some more activity and finds nothing. Apparently, he is braver than the ghosts once more and leaves victorious. This video could be paranormal unless they somehow figured out a way to get on the other side of that wall to make the noises themselves, though I don't happen to see one. A motorcyclist named Motor 2 Wrist is biking through India when he misses his turn and gets lost. Now it's threatening to rain and his bike's narrow high beams are his only source of light. Motor to Wrist is already close to losing his composure when he sees something that pushes him completely over the edge. Some stranger rushes at him from the side of the road. Keep in mind that it's 10 at night and there's apparently no villages around for miles. The pedestrian would have to be out of their mind to travel down a dark road in bad weather without so much as a flashlight to guide their way. Moto to Wrist is positive that he's seen a ghost and quickly speeds off, though it might have been someone in distress. We'll never know what the situation was for sure, but I'd like to get your opinion nonetheless. Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Purgatory Adventures. This redditor wrote, "Check out this crazy scream we captured while spending the night in a haunted location in Saskatchewan, Canada." Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about.
Yep. Kick it again. Yeah, I can see the lights.
The lights, Kate.
You're there.
Boxed it. Stay.
You know, sit there.
There was certainly some debate about this video in the comments. Lady Mania wrote, "I barely hear a scream. I only hear regular noises and the two people talking." Well, Corn TJE wrote, "Sounds like a cat in my opinion. Did you hear the scream the uploader is talking about? If so, what do you think is causing it? Let me know in the comments." A YouTuber named BatBatBox and his friend are all geared up and ready to do some serious exploring down a drainage tunnel that runs deep beneath the streets in Norway. Recent rains raise the water up to their knees, and a storm surge could leave them over their heads in a moment's notice. Many small side passages tempt them, but the rising water makes it too risky. They soon reach an impasse in the form of a fallen tree that quickly brings their exploration to a close. But just as the two friends are having a quick conversation about what to do next, a third party joins in. Something calls from the other side of the clogged pipe, a weird noise in their words, but definitely a scared human voice in my opinion. It doesn't make any other noise or ask for help, and when they try to find the source, it's gone. The tunnel is empty except for them, or so they think. All they find is this weird, large glove with sharpened fingers left behind, an iron claw in their words, like something a madman would wear. And when the passage they were looking down earlier begins to churn out a murky gray substance, they get out of there quick before anything else gets a chance to appear. That's a lot of unexplained events that have happened in one tunnel. Mysteries I don't think they were ready to solve. Maybe they heard someone's last moments before being taken away down that small passage, and whatever was down there was probably coming for them next. Imagine playing hide and seek with a mysterious cult. Published by Lego Papa TV in March of 2020. This scary video shows a cultish encounter at a house where lives were taken. Lego arrives at the house that he plans to explore on this fateful night. It looks 100% haunted. He tours the house, arriving at a bathroom in which he says the 71-year-old woman who lived here would take the lives of her victims. He says she buried them in her backyard. As he's about to head upstairs, he hears something, but he assumes it was just animals.
Yeah, it's not something. Probably animals because it's out of poop here.
Once he gets up there though, he hears more noise.
Hello?
While using the spirit box on his phone to try and communicate with the passed away in the bathroom, he sees a flashlight beam hit the wall. When he turns around, he sees many beams of light, and he thinks it could be police, other urban explorers, or maybe something even more nefarious. So he rushes upstairs and hides in another bathroom. Shortly after, he sees flashlight beams on the wall and hears footsteps. They apparently don't see him. After waiting in the darkness for a time, he sneaks downstairs, and while in the basement, he hears more evidence that he's not alone in the house. Footsteps sound on the floor above. He gets out of there as quickly as possible and does manage to escape. When finally safely outside, he turns back to look at the house. They are looking for him, whoever they are. Lego writes, "This is probably the scariest moment of my life. I have no doubt about that." Like most cats, this one can snooze all day.
She's right here asleep. She's not even moving.
But unlike most cats, this one will wake from a deep sleep whenever the door to the basement is touched, even putting its paw out as if to greet whatever's on the other side. This time it's more curious than normal, more driven. The cat seems to pay extra attention to the doorknob in particular. It really wants in. Then the door opens.
What I don't understand is I can do this to any door, so I don't care. Holy...
Despite being closed and latched, the door pops open. Even assuming the cat did slide its paw under the door and somehow opened it, what is down there that has its interest, and why only this door? Why did the time traveler cross the road to get to the other side of the space-time continuum? Published by Datos Curiosos in October 2021, this cryptic video has me veering off course. The short dashcam video shows a semi ahead driving down the highway. Suddenly it veers to the left right into the next lane, making cars move out of the way in the opposite direction. Soon it becomes clear why. A man materializes out of nowhere as the semi pulls around him. He walks so slowly across the road that the car, far behind the semi, catches up with him. The man is dressed in white and is staring straight ahead, walking in a very upright manner, stiff as a board. He appears as though he's in a trance and doesn't seem to be fazed by what just happened. Who is this man, and how did he seemingly appear out of nowhere? Only time will tell. In the meantime, I think something paranormal has to be going on here. This paranormal activity couldn't be clearer. Published by Paranormal Maya in January of 2022, the paranormal investigator is speaking to the jinn that haunts this home.
Niyetim sizi rahatsız etmek diye bir şey yok. Sizler bizleri rahatsız ediyorsunuz.
As he speaks, the door slowly swings closed and then slams shut. An EVP captures a phrase that means, "Shut up, we are at your home."
Kafir cinlersiniz.
Who exactly is here? I don't want to stick around to find out. A YouTuber named Hugo Blog is curiously poking around an old abandoned mansion with his friends in Houston as they search for nothing in particular. The crumbling estate looks like it could fall on their heads at any minute, but they bravely keep going in as deep as they dare. I don't speak any Spanish, but I can tell by their voices that they get weirded out by something and decide to leave. Later, they are all reviewing the video of their exploration, along with some digital pictures, when one still shot in particular grabs their attention. Can you see the silhouette of a girl peering at them through the railing? I definitely can. Another YouTuber named Luis Gomez says that he went there too, and that his camera picked up two children standing in a doorway looking at him, much like the photo you just saw. But this story gets much weirder than that. There's a bunch of text at the end of the video that says someone met their end in the house. Nobody was able to find the person responsible. I wasn't sure if I believed this story, so I did some Googling and I managed to find the exact same text on a Houston police blotter. The police gave an address, and when I put it into Google Maps, it took me back to the house in the video. In other words, the story is real, and someone really did meet their end at this location. Nobody knows why. Needless to say, Hugo Blog has not been back since. There's something lurking around this haunted place, shared by TikToker The King Horror. The kid who saw it with his own eyes cried in fear. After racing far away from the place, they turn back, and then they see this. This hooded figure is something nightmares are made of, and he's the perfect villain for bedtime. A nice looking kitchen in the middle of the afternoon is probably one of the least scary settings possible. Well, I thought so too until this 3-second video proved me wrong. We've all jumped out from around a corner before to scare someone, but I've never really seen a YouTube video create that same feeling until this one. I have to give credit to Tyler1 for keeping the video as basic as possible and still getting the job done. What looks to be an oversized bird slowly turns to reveal a human-shaped head. Listen and try to translate if you can.
Maje, ¿qué es esa onda? ¿Estás viendo eso?
At approximately 12 seconds into the video, the legs and abdomen appear to be of an insect. At 13 seconds, the fully outstretched wings have a ridged webbing that closely resembles a bat. Any guesses as to what this is? What is lurking on this roof at night? Published by Scary Labs in July of 2021, this paranormal team captured something unearthly prowling atop a roof in the darkness. The figure captured is bright green, almost digital in nature. It appears to be something in a hooded robe. First looking toward the crew, the figure turns and walks away. The crew doesn't seem to notice the figure at the moment, though it's captured again on camera as they walk toward the building. When they light a candle, the resistance registers again, but this time just its outline. This time they see it and run off in fear. The figure can be seen again still looming on the roof behind them. While many in the comments say this is next level editing, some are more inspired by the Oscar-worthy acting. We can probably gather that this is fake, but those who believe it's real are legendary.
ऊपर क्या है भाई ऊपर देखो भाई भाई मोमबत्ती फेंको भाई मोमबत्ती फेंको चलो भाई चलो 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 चलो
Some property owners just can't let go. Posted by Sour Sweet Gone to the Ghosts subreddit. The previous owner of this restaurant makes his jealousy known. The security footage shows some employees behind the counter at the restaurant, preparing some paperwork. No customers are present, and that's probably a good thing. Suddenly, a framed picture on the wall falls straight down onto the one below it and flips over onto the floor. One of the workers literally throws his hands into the air while the other jumps, covering her mouth in astonishment. According to the Redditor, the picture that fell was an award for the new owner's restaurant. Is the previous owner sore about their success? Some of the comments suggest the nail or wall fastening fell out or broke, but the Redditor has an answer for that and says the nail was still in the wall and the way it was hung made falling on its own seem unlikely. So what do you think? Broken nail or jealous ghost? I think that's a pretty fair explanation about the nail, so I'm definitely leaning on the side of the paranormal. A YouTuber named Shannon Griffin recorded this short scene as part of an amateur film he was working on. One of his friends, Rachel, goes into the alley and the scene ends. It seems simple enough, but look at the bottom left for a weird surprise. The swaying shadow is not supposed to be part of the shot. Later, when Shannon was editing the footage, he was terrified by the strange discovery because nobody was standing off camera there. It's not a tree in the wind because these plants in the foreground don't move at all, while this shadow figure sways wildly. The only explanation I have, assuming that they are telling the truth to begin with, is maybe some nosy neighbor was watching them from a window and casts their shadow on the sidewalk below, but the way the shadow moves is so odd that I don't think this is it at all, so maybe it was paranormal. Woke Cuyahoga official are being stalked by a mysterious being in the darkness. They first capture this figure as they walk toward the haunted place. Still, they do not leave. They continue exploring.
कौन है? आगे आओ। नींद कहती है नींद। वो देखो, वो दीवार पे कौड़ हुआ। हुआ यार, वो दीवार पे था यार कोई। वो
They then hear some creepy noises around them.
कितनी गंदगी है यार यहाँ पे भाई। एक तो आवाजें आ रही यार ये देखो ये
And then they see it. It is like the figure is taunting them. And it all comes to a head.
Oh, gone. ये क्या कौन हो आप?
What does it want from them?
Here we'll go. पीछे वो दीवार पे देख।
It seems to appear and disappear repeatedly.
वो देख यार
only to appear again in the end. What is this figure? And what does this all mean? Only the devil knows, which is why this is one scary video they tried to hide from us. This drone footage was taken somewhere deep in the Salt Fork Park in Ohio. The video starts out ordinarily enough, but then sometime around the 5-minute mark, you might be able to see something hiding in the thickets. Watch the left side of your screen closely as the drone starts to land, and pay close attention because it happens pretty fast. Many people claim they can see a large creature stop and look up as the drone passes by. Some even claim that this is a Bigfoot sighting in broad daylight. I do see what they are talking about, but I personally don't see any movement, and I think it could possibly be a tree. Let me know if you see it and if you agree. A person with an interest in graveyards is casually filming when they accidentally pick up a bizarre and possibly dangerous watcher. You can see a blurry shadow as it takes a few steps out from the other side of a wall, but the person recording doesn't seem to notice. It wasn't until much later that they reviewed the video and found the hidden lurker in the distance. I personally think that this could be CGI because the resolution of the video seems to have been lowered, which is always a sign of amateur effects. Then again, the person recording may have been using a cheap camera, or maybe this is an older video. A store security cam in Malaysia has caught a ghost on tape, a strange figure that can teleport at will, and it's got the owners freaking out. I would be freaking out too. 55 seconds is when you can see there's nobody in these clothes. No chest, no head, no hands. Just clothes forming the outline of a person who isn't there. Then at 1 minute and 30 seconds, it sprouts a freaky gray featureless face. And did you see that even scarier, more mysterious figure behind her? 1 minute and 26 seconds is when a much taller shadow figure with a red face appears behind her and then mysteriously goes away. This could be a possession, a ghost, or a demon sighting, or even a hostile takeover from another planet, but it could also simply be video editing. Oh, and of course, this creepy encounter happened at 3:14 in the morning, just 14 minutes shy of 3 a.m., a time when the supernatural world is said to fully open with our own. Pripat Amusement Park is an abandoned park in the Chernobyl region. It was abandoned before its planned grand opening after the meltdown that contaminated the area in 1986. Posted to TikTok by Edwin Calderon 608, this TikToker is wondering what this person is doing in the highly contaminated park. The deserted Ferris wheel looks particularly gloomy, standing still with no one on it. That is until the viewer zooms in on Google Earth to see a male figure standing in the service box beside the ride. The man isn't armored against the radiation that still pollutes the area. He is completely unprotected against it, leaving me to wonder if he's perhaps superhuman. Anyone want to risk a visit to ask him? No, that'd be a terrible idea. That's not sludge you're looking at. Published by Casey Spotlight, a creepy sludge-like creature was captured on film in the shallows of a lake. The figure looks squidgy, mushy, rubbery, and above all, slimy. Its form seems malleable. Its movements is like an amoeba, altering its shape. It also appears to have a mouth, but one with no teeth and only grandma gums. Well, some in the comments say it's a leech. If that's the case, it's the biggest leech I've ever seen. What do you think it is? Any theories? You can see a lot more from a bird's eye view, but that doesn't make things any clearer. YouTuber Stromedy captured something truly disturbing from his drone in the middle of the night. Watch and see if you can make sense of it.
Whoa! What? Dude, that's a runner, dude. That's a runner. Look. Now he just got up and started running.
Follow him.
Yeah, they're both running. Okay, guys, calm. Stay calm.
People are running amok, knocking others over. What is happening here? I can't make heads or tails from this, and at ground level, it gets even stranger.
I'm landing it. Wait, yo! Listen, right there! Straight up!
What is this guy after? I'd like to think this was some sort of game this group plays at night, but I have no idea what that game could be. Can anyone make sense of this? Here's another strange surveillance tape out of Singapore, this time at an apartment building in Tampines. Most of the orb videos I've seen in the past could be explained away as a piece of dust, but this is clearly something way different. At first, I thought that this was someone playing with a high-powered flashlight, but then I realized two things. You can usually see a ray of light leading back to a person holding the flashlight, but there's no such thing here. Secondly, the orb appears to briefly switch to a gray color when it hits the wall. Watch this part of the video to see the colors change. That's not something an ordinary flashlight would do. If anyone can explain these two things to me, then I'll agree that it's fake. A YouTuber named Jack Wagon has many videos demonstrating his apparent ability to manipulate objects using nothing but his own energy force. Here he circles his hands over a lock while concentrating deeply. It isn't long before he gets results. Not only is Jack able to push the lock over without touching, he is also somehow able to keep it balanced at a weird angle for almost 10 full seconds before falling. The only explanation I have for this is if there was some kind of magnet underneath the table, which I guess is possible. Next, Jack takes a steel fork in both hands and envisions the utensil becoming soft like butter. He ties the fork in a knot with his bare hands in a few simple twists. I'm honestly not sure how hard this really is to do, but it sure looks difficult to me. I'd really like for someone to tell me if this is a real display of energy manipulation or just some kind of trick. While spending the night in a haunted location in Saskatchewan, Canada, Redditor Purgatory Adventures felt the lightest touch. First they see a figure on the Connect.
There it is again. Can you wave to us if that's you?
This is like directly right in front of me.
Can you wave if that's you? Whoa, it just picked up its hand. Can you wave? Can you wave to us?
They ask the figure to put both arms up, and it complies.
Thank you so much. Can you put both arms up in the air? Can you put them both up? Can you put the right and left? Oh, just went up. Dude, can you hold them up?
The figure is reluctant to reach for his hand.
Yeah, no way.
Can you reach for my hand? Can you reach for it? You grab?
What the?
Can you reach for it?
But at last he reaches out.
For my hand.
Oh, there he is.
Whoa.
There it is.
Whoa, I felt that.
It just touched
I felt it.
Well, some believe this is a ghost, others think it's an interaction between people in parallel universes.
I felt it touch my hand.
I've got to say I prefer that explanation. While exploring a spooky abandoned cellar, these ghost hunters face something more fearsome than ghosts. Published by Scary Labs in August of 2021, this scary video shows the crew investigating several dark bricked rooms. The cameraman scans one room that appears to be empty, then he turns to his colleague, who is directing her camera toward another room, asking the spirits to come forward. When the spirits refuse refuse to answer. The cameraman turns back toward the previously empty room, only it's not empty anymore. Black cloak, black hair, pale skin. What was this thing? I'm guessing Professor Snape, but the crew didn't stick around long enough to find out. A flaming torch in the forest revealed this group was not alone. The uploader writes that these friends were having some drinks in the woods when two of the young women saw a mysterious creature watching them. In the clip, the group is enveloped in darkness. That is until one of them tosses a flaming torch toward a tree. It lights the brush at the base of the tree, and it also lights this creature hiding behind it. The extraterrestrial-looking figure is crouched low at the stump of the tree, but its large cranium and eyes briefly appear. You can see it back away for a moment behind the tree, and then as the camera moves in closer, its hands extend long, spindly fingers. What is watching them? It looks like something out of this world. Ready to hear one of the most bone-crunching sounds in the world? This was captured at the Australian Reptile Park. The bone-crunching noise gives me the chills beyond belief. According to the BBC, saltwater crocodiles take the lives of an estimated 1,000 people per year, many more than sharks do. Would you want to run into one of these monsters? Me neither. This extreme close-up of the moon captures an unknown object floating at what appears to be mere meters over the celestial body. Alexi_N shares this mysterious footage with the YouTube community. Can you guess what it is? In fact, it looks like something drifts down toward the moon from the floating object. Folks in the comments have some wild theories. Are extraterrestrials refueling on the moon, as some suggest? It's possible, but I think it could also be the International Space Station. Although the ISS is only 250 miles from the Earth, while the moon is 230,000 miles. In photographs, the ISS often looks much closer to the moon than it actually is. But even if it is the ISS, that doesn't really explain the object that appears to be traveling toward the moon from it. Additionally, the uploader has CGI videos on their channel. This one isn't marked as such, but there is still the possibility this is special effects. Share what you think in the comments. I'm torn on this one. After multiple nights of getting no sleep and experiencing a deep sense of dread, this person sets up multiple cameras to record exactly what happens to them at night. When they check out the cameras the next day, they find this strange encounter. A faint shadow appears to linger above them for a moment before fading away. It has an unnatural shape and almost seems to reach out at them. This video could be fake because this person was sleeping with their lights on, which is strange. But then again, maybe they were just trying to make sure there was plenty of light to catch the ghost on video. Some people have even suggested that this person was having an out-of-body experience during REM sleep. According to YouTuber Gankwapi, this abandoned house has a horrific history. It's near the end of their investigation that they encounter this spirit. If you look a little closer, you can see a figure lurking in the darkness. Look to the right. Is that the old man's spirit, stranded to haunt this evil house for eternity? I suspect it just might be, although I could also see it being the Life-Taker's demon, jailed forever in this purgatory on Earth. In a small town in Texas, a church fitness class had begun one April morning in 2016. The attendees walked in only to find that someone had taken the instructor's life. 45-year-old Terry Bevers was found on the floor. There were no leads except for this security footage. You may think the person in this footage is someone here to help, but it's actually worn by whoever committed this terrible act. The culprit wore a full SWAT uniform, going room to room in the church, possibly looking for more victims. To this day, this person's identity remains a mystery. This video was taken from a waiting station at the Islamabad International Airport in Pakistan. Any strings attached to this chair would be easy to see on the bright and reflective cement floor, but I don't see any, and the chair slides across the room without anyone in sight. It looks like it might be getting pulled by someone off camera here at the 33-second mark, but then it does a 360 all of its own somehow, so that theory is pretty much debunked. There's also no way for magnets to work from beneath a solid concrete floor, so I have no idea how this was done. Dark, damp caves bring only danger to wanderers, and here's another proof, published by Solo Paranormal in January of 2022 and credited to Victor Perez. This encounter is super creepy, although we don't have context for this video. From what I gather, the cameraman is navigating through a cave system in a vehicle. There appears to be an opening overhead off to the left, followed by another section of the cave. But what is that to the corner on the left? Something appears inside the cave in the darkness, a strange sliver of light. It appears only for a moment and then vanishes. What is this light in the darkness? I guess exploring that cave is the only way to find out. A race car driver finds himself in one of the worst predicaments possible when the steering wheel breaks off in his hands. Shortly after kicking it into high gear by itself, judging by his right leg, it doesn't look like he hit the gas at all. The only thing left to do to keep from flying into the wall is pull the emergency brake, which he grabs immediately after fumbling a moment more with the now non-existent controls. The faraway look in his eyes at the end of it all says everything. He knows exactly how much danger he was in, and that he's lucky to still be alive. A YouTuber named Savage Mister seems to be able to control the elements with his mind, and this creepy video has some viewers losing theirs in return. Savage Mister waves to the sky, and in that moment a streak of sideways lightning appears to follow his commands. Although it looks like he has superhuman powers, this was actually a total accident. Savage Mister is in the middle of a conversation with his brother, and he was talking with his hands when this once-in-a-lifetime coincidence happened and really shocked them both. There's a demon in the cellar in this video from Dark Ghost Paranormal. As Dennis is peering into a stone storage cellar, he first hears its moan. Back in the house, some terrifying sounds start to reverberate through his radio. And then Dennis is confronted by something unseen. After that terrifying instance, this happens. Then whole pieces of furniture start to move. And it doesn't stop there. After Dennis tries to get out of there, he goes to pick up something off the ground. That's when all heck breaks loose. Later, Dennis leaves an infrared camera inside the house and heads outside. This is what he captures. Then this happens. You can literally see the demon on camera moving the crib and then breaking the wardrobe doors. What is this evil? All I know is, it's not something I'd want to encounter face to face. YouTuber Franco TV sets out in this haunted graveyard to hunt down the witch's tomb. As he searches for it, he arrives at an abandoned part of the mausoleum.
I heard something move over here. I'm now getting closer to more of the abandoned area here.
He notices cobweb-covered straw wrapped around the gates.
Look how old these things are. So much cobwebs on them.
I'm not sure if this is ritualistic or not, but it's somehow very creepy. From one deep crypt, Franco hears whispering.
Listen. Now you're whispering.
At another, he finds a bag of black candles abandoned outside of the gate, along with what looks like a voodoo doll and some photographs with writing on them.
Inside the bag. These are the pictures. Either somebody wants something bad to happen to them, there's writing on it too.
Does someone want something bad to happen to these women? This stuff gets even creepier.
And each mannequin doll has a picture of someone's face strapped to the face of it.
As he continues to examine the creepy findings, he hears a voice.
Someone.
Is someone else visiting this graveyard in the middle of the night? It sure seems like it.
Right over there. Someone's whistling. Yeah, fuck that.
Later, when he captures footage of a tomb, we can see what looks like a full-body apparition.
Right in there.
As Franco continues to identify creepy ritualistic items, he hears a man singing.
And then up there is something else. I don't know what that is. I hear a voice as someone singing.
He arrives at the witch's tomb and immediately hears something.
There she is.
What?
He spots a face briefly in the dark doorway, but it retreats.
See, I could probably get some stock footage from it or something. What the is that?
Did you see that?
Some stock footage from it or something. What the is that?
Is the witch hiding from Franco, or is this one of the cemetery's many dark magic victims? I have no doubt that this place is haunted by many damaged souls, and it seems to continue to be a frequented site of dark magic witches as well. Franco had better hope he didn't get any of their magic on him. Do the spirits of the past on linger where they took their last breath on Earth? They might, as this video from YouTuber Terror Latente suggests. A hospital worker wanders around the empty corridors of a hospital when they capture a glimpse of something while rounding a corner. Watch closely. Did you see her? Here's the footage again, slowed down. There's definitely a figure there, and when the camera pans back moments later, she's gone. This capture really gives me the chills. I feel this is a genuine ghost, a spirit whose life ended here in this hospital. What do you think? It's midnight, everyone's asleep, except for this ghost, published by The Haunted One in August of 2020. This short clip shows a thirsty ghost having a nightcap. Watch closely as the bottle on the counter moves ever so slightly on its own. It slides from the middle of the island to the very edge. Is this ghost about to smash some glass, or is he just playing mind games? Either way, I definitely think this place is haunted. How would you spend 30 minutes alone in an abandoned cartel hotel? This video, posted by Southern Afterlife Paranormal TV in January of 2020, puts Truth or Dare to the test when Josh and Todd take a half hour to themselves in the abandoned hotel at 3 a.m. The Alone Challenge saw the two partners split up in the highly graffitied abandoned hotel, terrifying themselves with unsettling noises and even more unsettling feelings. At 2 minutes 13 seconds, a viewer points out that it appears someone is standing in the doorway at the end of the hall. When Josh flashes his light, at around 3 minutes 48 seconds, a scary sound is heard, almost like a cabinet being shut.
I don't know what that was.
At around 5 minutes 40 seconds, Josh finds an upside down cross that's wet. He believes from the cold and dampness of the hotel. At around 14 minutes, he believes he smells fresh paint. Maybe some invisible graffiti artist is there to touch up their artwork. Most in the comments agree this place has an awful and uber creepy atmosphere. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, live people could be lurking around any corner. Don't know if I'd want to run into either in this nightmare hotel. Chad Beauchamra and his family are enjoying themselves on Lake Michigan when an unexplainable cloud formation leaves them breathless.
Wow, that is so wild.
The long tube-like cloud stretches on for miles, making a creepy twisting motion as it moves on. Scientists have named this a morning glory cloud because they do not have a strong grasp as to why or how it exists. The few people who have seen morning glory clouds often describe feeling incredibly small and unimportant in the moment. a feeling that stays with them for a long time. What causes this remains a mystery. This Redditor wrote, "Strange noises at night in my home in rural Ohio." Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about. The user explains in the description that they were woken up to these strange noises and their dog barking at them. They've had a hard time sleeping ever since. I'm not sure what to tell you, Durfee, other than maybe it's time to move out. Creepy creatures creeping in the night, not exactly something you'd want to watch in the dark, but this YouTuber published this footage in August of 2016. The footage shows what looks to be a picnic area late at night. Trees border the area, lights shine beyond, and shadows fall to give you an extreme sense of trepidation and fear. That's when the creepy thing starts to creep out from behind a tree trunk. The humanoid features bony shoulders, a round head, and elongated arms that touch the ground, as if it's walking on all fours. The body is hunched over, the knees bent, and its movements are slow at first and then sudden. It looks like a praying mantis if the insect were humanoid. One YouTuber suggests that it looks like an old crippled man with crutches, while another thinks it's the legendary rake. What do you think this creepy creature could be? Would you get on a small wooden boat in a murky pond full of alligators? YouTube channel The Omar Gosh Vlogs dives right in this scary video. Can you see the gator in the water, drifting toward them? You might think these folks landed in gator territory by accident, but it looks like this is actually something people pay to do.
Guys, there's tons of hot dogs out. Go. Savannah looks hungry, don't you guys think?
The gators look like they could chomp them at any moment. In fact, the group is sandwiched in between them.
Look at these guys here. They're so crazy. Getting followed by an alligator.
Break it in half, Joyce. Break it in half and get through.
Oh my God.
What do you think? Would you pay money to be gator bait? Me neither. It's a full moon and a YouTuber who goes by the name of Al Capone is in the most hectic cemetery I have ever seen. He can't even explain what he's been through without getting interrupted.
Okay, things moving behind tombstones while I was driving.
Then listen to this at 4 minutes and 52 seconds.
No, behind me.
Oh, you heard it behind you. I heard it.
No, I heard what was by you, but I'm saying by the cars. Like
Al is talking when another man's voice speaks at the same time. What they hear a minute and a half later leaves their mouths hanging open. I mean, this could be neighbors from some of the nearby houses, except there's really no reason for anybody to be shouting near the cemetery in the middle of the night. Plus, the direction these voices are coming from is deeper in the cemetery, away from the houses and closer to the woods. And since this video was made in the middle of January 2020, I doubt anyone was out there camping. A YouTuber in Belgium has a ghost in the window, and when I say in the window, I mean literally.
Smell right though. Right. Go away. What is it? Go away. Spirit.
He's not running his finger up the blinds because there's a heavy curtain in front of it. So tell me if you think a ghost is moving objects like he says. Considering this is the only paranormal video he has, and the rest of his channel is about nothing but guitars, I think it could be real. There's a place in Niagara Falls, known only as the Screaming Tunnel, a short pathway where a maniac father is said to have huffed out the life of his own daughter in a fit of rage, then accidentally set himself ablaze after spilling oil from his lantern and lighting a match. Ever since this terrible event, the tunnel refuses to hold a flame of any kind. Now a group of friends want to see if the legend is true. This is the first attempt.
Pause it.
At 2 minutes and 6 seconds, there's a spark with no flame. Weird, right? Well, it's about to get a whole lot weirder. With no wind at all. One of them even puts their hands in front just to make sure. They try again.
We're going through this box, dude.
Still nothing. I was thinking maybe the matches were wet or something, but no, not at all. I think this match would have stayed lit if they were anywhere but in the Screaming Tunnel. And of course, once they step outside...
You don't favor them. Outside the tunnel, the match stays lit up.
And it's not like one of them didn't know how to light a match or something, and another one could. Whoever this is wears a necklace in both shots. It's the same person the whole time. So with this evidence in mind, the only conclusion I can come to is that the Screaming Tunnel is all too real. Paranormal activity was recently caught on video by this family in Pakistan, but I'm not sure if this is a poltergeist or just them throwing things around, so help me decide. Most of the objects come from the corner of the screen and could have been easily thrown by someone off camera. I'm not sure how they made the table come back after it was thrown against the wall, but it doesn't look that heavy, so maybe it was on a wire. I guess we'll never know for sure. A man is testing out his GoPro when a mysterious sea creature is caught on camera in deep waters. Look closely behind him. You'll just barely see a small black object move in the waves before mysteriously disappearing back to wherever it came. He suspects this bizarre sighting could have been anything from a gray white to an orca whale, or something smaller like an otter or a seal is not out of the question. That's a big difference and not something you'd want left up to your imagination while floating on a kayak by yourself with nothing around for miles. The creature does not resurface and ultimately leaves them alone. He's not sure which mysterious creature is responsible for this suspenseful moment caught on GoPro, but there's always a chance of an even closer encounter next time. The self-proclaimed Turkish adventurer Mr. Hearth goes on a paranormal exploration of a well-known and powerful jinn who is said to be able to take many forms at will, human and otherwise, or sometimes no form at all.
في صوت تصفير. في ايد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا إله إلا الله.
The invisible jinn opens windows and moves wherever it pleases. When the ghost hunter follows, he sees this at the window.
لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
With a hideous hiss comes a mysterious figure in the corner, a boy with a curved tongue and dreary eyes of the supernatural, the gaze of the jinn. Then the eyes close and the figure is mysteriously gone. In a creepy abandoned place, YouTuber Alberto Del Arco captures a passing ghost on camera. First, they hear a distant scream.
¿Oíste?
Como un grito de una niña.
Sí, sí, ¿lo oíste?
Un grito muy agudo.
Muy agudo, muy agudo.
Y se escucha.
Sí.
Then they spy this dark figure at the end of a corridor. While the figure is too far away and indistinct to definitely confirm that it's a ghost, you can see that it does move. Someone is there with them, ghost or living being. I wouldn't stick around to find out. The YouTube team, Greg and Heather's exploration, know what fear is. They found it in the woods. As Heather is sitting near a campfire, she hears something unsettling nearby.
What the heck? What was that noise?
She goes to investigate.
Hello? Where is that coming from?
Nobody answers, so she continues on. As she hears the sound again, she finally encounters its maker.
There it goes again. Oh my. Hello?
What is this creature?
What are you doing out here? Oh my.
Whatever it is, it's soon coming for her. Will she escape him?
Where'd you go?
It's almost creepier when he disappears, while the YouTuber explains in the description that this video is, in fact, fiction. The horror is real, and I think their monster is particularly chilling. Some poltergeists are gentle, others are vicious. Published by Find Ghosts in November of 2021. The uploader of this video writes, "Imagine coming home to this." Security footage captures a large and heavy-looking sofa flip forward onto its face unexpectedly. A moment later, a piece of glass is catapulted from a display in the corner. The glass launches across the room and hits a wall. Then something seems to be horseplaying with the camera itself. It is rolled around onto the floor, while yet another object appears to be on its way to falling over on it. The scary video cuts out before the object does, but I wonder what else this family came home to. YouTube channel Paranormal Nightmare TV series explored the Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, where they found they were not alone. The cameraman explains that while exploring the various cells, he started hearing things.
Went to go do that talk with George, and I had to go move the van. Well, I didn't know where the hell you guys went, so I walked around every one of these cells. And I got into here, and this was the first time walking in here, and I got...
Then a series of crazy things happen.
I just had a cold breeze go by me.
I know you've had a lot of groups into your people into your what equipment.
Here are some of those same events from another angle.
No way.
While the singing is disturbing, it sounds like mechanical screaming of some kind to me. It's very repetitive, like the whining of machinery, but this image gives me the creeps.
You come closer.
Handsome.
I think this place is 100% haunted. If you were a fan of Tales from the Crypt, this scary video is right up your alley. Published by Proving Demons in October of 2021, this video welcomes you to the land of the no longer living. When they arrive on site, the first thing that greets them is a cemetery.
Oh, it's a cemetery.
There's a cemetery here.
Navigating through brambles down to a lower entrance, they arrive at a barbed wire fence. It's clear that the owners didn't want anyone getting in here. They have to wade through the barbed wire to get to the door. Having traveled 5 hours to explore this site.
Oh, please, God, let it be open. We've traveled 5.5 hours.
At last they arrive at the door and are thankfully able to open it. Wandering through the old church, they encounter several crypts. More open crypts and coffins are found at the end of the hallway. While well water floods the floor, a human skull is in one open coffin and there is human hair still on it.
No.
Education. So, I want to point out, just shine a light on it for me. There's still hair on its head. Still got teeth. Obviously, oh, that's rotting brain in there.
As he's prodding the skull head, they think they hear something down the hallway.
What?
What's wrong? Examining the skull more closely, you can see it still has human hair and teeth. As they're talking about how it felt like someone was walking behind them, someone shushes them from what sounds like the corner of the room.
What's that? The shh. Somebody just shh us.
It seems this team of urban explorers has disturbed the peace. All I know is I would never be going back to that place. This one's a head scratcher. Redditor FAKHAMNK shares this mysterious video that has skeptics questioning everything. Just watch. For context, the Redditor is a skeptic and just moved into this home. This same thing happened twice, about 20 minutes apart around 2 a.m. Watch again. The more you watch it, the harder it is to figure out, unless you're these Redditors in the comments, who apparently know exactly what's happening. Others think it's vape, and still others think it's fake. But the Redditor says they've also been hearing weird noises and seeing things out of the corner of their eye. So who do you trust? Reddit commenters or the Redditor who posted this footage? In my opinion, to come to a full conclusion, we're gonna need more footage. This video, taken in Lottie, Florida, shows two mysterious government vehicles sticking close together as they head to an undisclosed location. No identifying information is written on the side of the trucks. The first truck has red and blue lights on the top, but the one behind it doesn't have any markings at all and could easily be mistaken for a civilian vehicle to the untrained eye. Both trucks are covered in thick armor, and each one has enough room in the back to serve as a mobile command station of some kind, though for what purpose I can't say. People in the comments section of this video are suggesting everything from hazardous waste cleanup to mind control operations. One of the more convincing comments states that these trucks only are seen when a serious threat to national security is detected, like a nuclear device or worse. Again, I don't know what these vehicles are for, but if I saw one in my neighborhood, I would be worried, let alone seeing two. While exploring this haunted professor's house, YouTuber Nighthawk's Paranormal captured something unexpected. One keen-eyed YouTuber, Salim Ali, spotted a strange shadow falling in the doorway behind Danny. I'm going to play it in slow motion because it's not easy to catch. Watch that doorway.
Could we be getting this right?
What was that? Let's take another look. The shadow moves quickly and unusually. It's almost indiscernible at normal speed.
Could we be getting this right?
To me, there doesn't appear to be movement in the home that might cause this shadow. I can't explain this one, but it feels demonic to me. Full respect goes to YouTuber Rex Travolta for somehow obtaining this cry out loud creepy CCTV footage of a haunted driving school in Puchong. A man goes into the building late at night to wait for his girlfriend for a late night meetup. Little does he know tonight's date is about to get cancelled for paranormal reasons. The computer monitor somehow turns on at the same time, and when he checks the wiring underneath, the screens briefly flash in unison. He runs out of there scared out of his mind, and that's when a ghost decides its work is done as it shuts the door and pulls up a chair. The video looks paranormal at first, but I think it could be really good stop motion photography that you don't notice because the camera's been skipping frames the whole time. And as for the monitors, maybe the computers were already on and had some kind of screensaver on a timer to make it look like they went on at once. Ghosts love to play games. This playful ghost was caught in a short clip by Janeth Mendoza Ponce and posted on Facebook. Ponce writes, "My daughter playing outside Northside High School caught this video. Ghost or not, looks creepy to me. Since it was only them, 3 there, 2 running and 1 recording. If you look closely, the figure disappears before they run around the corner. The video shows 2 of the girls racing towards the opposite end of the school buildings. Then suddenly a 3rd figure appears, running perpendicular along the opposite building. As Ponce stated, the figure does seem to disappear before the girls arrive. If you watch closely, it does appear that something is behind there, and that's where the figure emerges. Many in the comments familiar with the area insist that the field house is haunted. Whether you take the skeptic's word for it or the believers, the shadow creature is here to stay. A YouTuber named AG is playing with her phone on the floor when her CCTV system records a bizarre and possibly paranormal display behind her. The strangely shaped phantom consists of little more than 2 arms and a head. The face is simply a single eye in the middle, almost like it's looking at her from the side. The video itself looks a little pixelated, so I guess this could be special effects, or maybe even the brief reflection of something against the wall, though of what I cannot say. Stranger still is how, out of everywhere else in the room, it appears directly behind her, almost like it's self-aware and choosing to do so. Dennis from Dark Ghost Paranormal is exploring this scary house with ghosts, and he's in for a real boo. While searching what looks like a storage area of the home, he falls to the ground. In fact, it looks like he breaks clean through the ground, and he does. The disturbance is captured from another room. A mysterious anomaly is seen in that same storage room. And that anomaly may be getting aggressive with him. But nothing is there, or so it seems. Just as he's decided to leave, he's confronted by the ghost again.
Yes.
One actually might think it's an earthquake, if not for the terrifying knowledge that this place is haunted. Later, he hears a whole lot of ruckus again and goes to investigate when, behind him, there's a growl. What sort of beast is in here with Dennis? I don't think that's a ghost. Sounds more like a demon to me. Recently, I've come across some YouTube channels showcasing these images of what appears to be the Statue of Liberty, moving her hands slightly to the right. It took me a long time, but I finally found the original video and can verify beyond all reasonable doubt that this giant moving statue video is edited. It is from a 2006 upload called The Statue of Liability, made by a computer animator named RODC 2006, who says in the description that it was made using a program called Blender 3D. So if you should ever happen to see these images somewhere online in the future, now you know it never happened and who originally made it. Props to RODC 2006 for being so good at editing that he continues to fool people so many years later. Grim Experience is a YouTuber who has been experiencing paranormal activity at not one, but two separate homes.
Okay, you know how her house is haunted. We explored the basement the other day. Clearly haunted.
It really is.
I ain't ever going over there again.
There's so many stories, like I could write a book.
His wife was using the Ouija board, and now they think something followed them out of her basement and into their home. They decide to go ghost hunting at 3 a.m. in a room full of collectible dolls. What they've caught on tape is beyond creepy, but is it paranormal? Let's take a look.
And they said, give us a sign. And then all of a sudden,
Sorry, do you have to start that?
the flowers started rising up out of the...
He is in the middle of telling us what happened in the basement when he is interrupted by an avalanche of dolls caught on video falling over. He's so into his story that he runs forward seconds before the dolls fall, so perhaps his pounding footsteps are to blame. Except look again. At 1 minute and 50 seconds, Grim sees a demonic ghost face grinning back at him. The ghost must have attached itself to one of the dolls, and when the dolls moved, it was because the ghost was feeding off his wife's fear. Mother Nature sometimes digs up monsters. That was the case during the 2011 tsunami in Japan. The scary video is proof that there are plenty of species in our oceans that we haven't yet met. The clip shows floodwaters tearing through the Japanese coast. Well, this is disturbing enough. Don't be distracted by all the debris. Instead, look closely at this waterway. What looks to be either translucent vapor or a big spout of water shoots up in the air like a geyser before vanishing like a ghost. Some are saying it is a ghost, while others think it's a propane tank discharging when its regulator was torn off. A few people think it may be marine life with highly effective camouflage skills. Where do you land in this debate? My guess is something paranormal. Redditor Everyone is Human shared the following video to Reddit with a short read-up that says, "My sister-in-law's Ring camera captured this tonight. I have never been a believer, but I am struggling to dismiss this. Please weigh in on it." So let's have a look and see if we can help the uploader in figuring out what was filmed on the camera that night. So I need you to focus your attention. So if we're looking at the center beam here, about dead center on the center beam, and then to the left, about halfway in between this center beam and this beam here. And you just see that thing just move. All right, now it's between these two beams, just huffing it down the sidewalk. Still on camera here, but it looks like whatever this is, it almost looks like the ghost of somebody out for an evening jog, as it starts on the left side of the sidewalk here and just continues down the sidewalk for the entire video. Whatever it is almost appears kind of translucent as well. You'd think if it was just a person, like an actual person out for a jog, it would be a lot more visible on camera. It would just look like just a regular person on camera. This almost looks not only translucent, but it's kind of floating in the air. I can definitely see why this uploader, who is usually a skeptic when it comes to this sort of thing, is having a hard time coming up with a logical explanation of what exactly happened on the security footage. It certainly looks to be some sort of ghostly figure out for an evening stroll, but one can only hope that's not not the case, some viewers suggest that it could actually just be the camera that's making an ordinary person look like a ghost. Is this actually a ghost walking around in clear view, or is this just a camera trick on a regular person? I'll let you decide. A Russian YouTuber named Fikfos decides to feed a bear a late night fish snack through his window. There's only one problem. Supplies are limited, and the bear seems to want to help itself to everything at once. Multiple times it has to be reminded to mind its manners, and at 24 seconds you can see for yourself that I'm not exaggerating when I say its paw is the size of your head, with long black claws the size of your whole finger. Feeding time becomes less fun when you realize the only way to close this window is by reaching out into the darkness past the hungry bear's mouth to grab this latch. They wait until it walks away satisfied before closing the window. Thankfully, it didn't try to get in this time, but bears have a long memory, and surely it will be back when it's hungry. Perhaps next time for them if no fish is available. Franco TV is one of the few ghost hunters I've come across who isn't afraid to investigate solo. In fact, he prefers it. Charging into the middle of the action and staying put is his style. Rarely does he run. On September 7th, 2018, Franco TV goes to an abandoned house that's way out in the Florida forest. I can't tell you the exact location, but I can tell you the name, the Edison House. What's inside leaves him a sweat-soaked mess. The address is so secret that he had to track down some of the previous owners to find it, and since no one can stand living here for more than a few months, there were plenty of previous owners to choose from. It was accidentally built over a gravesite according to them, and that's all they will say because it's so cursed that just talking about it could possibly bring about years of misfortune. None of this concerns Franco enough to keep him from going inside. Through the condemned door is a trashed interior that fills the investigator with the type of dread that burns stronger with every step. Everything about it feels off and wrong in a way he can't explain.
So weird.
Past a crumbling kitchen is a small kid's room that feels colder than the rest of the house. And as he's reading but not adhering to the simple instructions on the wall,
get out.
he hears the giggle of a child. The laughter comes from behind him, practically in his ear, and he turns against a wall with a mysterious red stain that looks like it's squirted out of someone's neck. Across from him, this witch-like face appears against the window. It's most visible at approximately 3 minutes and 12 seconds, eyes and all. Undeterred, he goes to where it was standing and looks inside the room he was just in. As he's doing this, the same face now regards him through a crack in the doorway at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It doesn't look like it's part of the door, but I guess it could be. The upstairs is cramped and uncomfortably hot. Down the hall is a red handprint that could belong to a child, except it's too high up on the wall. Perhaps they were struggling with someone trying not to be carried into this room. As Franco stares into the room, dozens of comments point out this figure staring back out at him from within the closet, just like the far wall says. I couldn't really see anything at first, but when I did, I suddenly wished I didn't try so hard. Something's there. Franco doesn't spend much time in this room because he gets an especially bad feeling, but one thing I noticed was this jet black spirit orb float up towards him and disappear. That's not a bug. The anxiety he gets from the second floor is a little too much, even for him, and look what happens when he goes back downstairs.
I'm hearing all sorts of noises everywhere and I don't have no cover at all, and I'm in the middle of the forest. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why it's going to be a little bit weird for me, because I can't deal with that.
This just so happens to be one of the only times he films behind him, so maybe this part is set up. Anyway, this was back when a supernatural challenge called Charlie Charlie was popular, and so he decides to play around before calling it quits. He sets up 2 pencils and waits for the ghost to respond.
Is there anyone in this house right now? Is there anyone that's
I don't know about you, but I see no string.
Do you wish me to leave this area?
A closer look under the light at 9 minutes and 17 seconds shows that nothing is tied around the pencil at all. He follows its advice and goes outside. By now, Franco is soaked in sweat and still hearing movements that I don't think he's making up because they sound too far away, deeper in the forest.
And from there, from there, I'm gonna head home. After that, I'm done. I gotta get out of here.
Part of him wants to leave, but he knows he has to explore the surrounding property because it's where more spirits roam around their unmarked graves. While staring out into the wilderness, he hears them.
What the is that?
It's not traffic because there's no roads out here, and exactly 2 seconds later it's accompanied by a voice warning him never to return. Advice that Franco TV decides to take as he walks away from the Edison house with the blank, horrified stare of a man who has been shown far too much. A mother is mourning the loss of her child when a single white balloon floats over to her from his casket. Relief washes over her as she soon realizes this is almost definitely a sign of reassurance from her lost loved one. Look again and you'll see not only did this balloon start from her child's casket, it was also in front of a picture of him as well. It really is as if he is sending her a balloon to cheer her up and let her know that he still cares for her from the other side, perhaps even as a final gesture to help her let go. In 2010, a mysterious creature sighting was caught on a GoPro camera in Ontario at Algonquin Park. A large shadowy figure unsuccessfully attempts to conceal itself amongst the scenery, too tall to be a shrub and too wide to be a human. There's always the possibility that this is a mannequin and that the video is fake, but if not, then what could this strange roadside creature sighting along the woods possibly be? Caitlin McIntyre is making a video of her grandpa that she wants to remember for the rest of her life, which actually might be shorter than she thinks. It may seem like nothing bad could ever happen to them on such a perfectly sunny day, but to their immediate right is a sharp drop straight off a cliff. They hit a point where the curved road grows very narrow, just as the sun beats down on their car at the worst possible angle, turning the entire windshield into nothing but a blinding white glare. Grandpa does his best to stay on the road, but the sun is so intense that not even his oversized sunglasses can get the glare out of his eyes. They find some brief cover under the trees, and they can see that the road is too narrow to safely turn around. You can tell he doesn't want to keep going, but it's too late now and there is no other choice. He has to go back into the blinding sunlight and keep pushing forward just a little bit more until he can make this turn.
Maybe there's something up ahead.
He only has a short distance to go before he can turn around, but he almost manages to drive completely off the cliff instead.
It's starting to get a little worried.
I can't even see. Where am I?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Just to give you a better idea at how close they were to falling off, this is a brief glimpse of the side of the cliff. You can see he was still turning right and had to majorly correct the steering wheel to avoid tumbling below. Eventually, Caitlin gets out of the car and guides her grandfather to safety. You can still see that the sun is still totally in his eyes, and it's a small miracle they made it out of there alive. This 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Japan years ago. Earthquakes are common in this part of the world, but what happens next is not.
In the distance among the swaying buildings, a bright glow in the night sky. Possibly what scientists call an earthquake light.
A bright light burns intensely over the city for nearly 10 full seconds before extinguishing as suddenly as it came. The light appears to have caused no damage and was accompanied by no sound. It does not look like it was caused by a blown out transformer or any other kind of equipment. Scientists have documented this type of phenomenon before, known only as earthquake lights, but they don't know what causes them. They occur in less than 1% of earthquakes and have been reported for hundreds of years. A handful of theories exist, but a real explanation has never been proven. All we know for sure is that it creates an eerie light show that witnesses will never forget. The Jordanian ghost hunter, known only as Mr. Harith, is back at it again with more scary stuff caught on live stream video, this time while exploring an abandoned house once inhabited by an alleged witch.
ان شاء الله يعني شوف في الحمام. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
This could be one of his friends, but each time he looks in the room the witch was just in, the figure has disappeared.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
Things get really weird when this ghost caught on live stream mysteriously disappears as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا 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 راح والله راح. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
This might have been caused by a live stream delay, except it doesn't drop frames and the resolution stays the same. The ghost witch is simply there 1 second and gone the next. When something goes bump in the night, you just better hope you're not working the night shift. Posted to the Ghosts subreddit by MX Fear of Dogs. The Redditor writes, friend works for a pharmacy as security. He was notified the alarm was going off at 2 a.m., which is triggered by internal sensors. He arrived and found nothing wrong, but reviewed the footage to find the cause and saw this. He said this was the security guard's first encounter with the paranormal, if it is in fact paranormal activity. The footage shows a shelving unit pressed up against a wall, full of products and assumedly medicine. Watch the fourth shelf. Several items can be seen falling with force. One hits the ground and skids away out of sight. The other hits the ground and appears to break into 6 separate rectangular pieces. While most in the comments of this video are cracking pharmacy jokes, some are asking thoughtful questions about the history of the building, or whether or not something like this has happened in the past. Others who say they're pharmacists or caregivers claim this strange stuff happens all the time in their line of work. Allison333, however, gets the last laugh, writing, I guess you can say they had a short shelf life. We see what you did there, Allison. This video comes from a nature trail that is rumored to be the burial spot of a prominent Native American leader who passed on hundreds of years ago. The first 30 seconds don't catch much activity, but when the weather spontaneously changes and the whole scene becomes very different indeed.
I see something in the back. See all the orbs? Look at this.
A soft rain falls and dozens of fast-moving orbs dart back and forth from all angles. At first I thought it was a swarm of gnats, but some of the orbs look way too big to be an insect, and some disappear in the mid-air. It likewise can't be raindrops because the orbs come down from all sides, and even from the bottom of the screen at times. To make things even stranger, a child soon perceives movements in the distance. Soon after the wind picks up, and it almost looks like an invisible presence is walking down through the foliage, in the exact same spot that the kid thought he saw something.
There's something moving. See it? No.
A girl is coloring in the living room when her papers blow away despite there being no breeze. Even if the windows are open, the curtains behind her do not move, so this simply shouldn't happen indoors. When the little girl comes back to stare in utter confusion, it just gets worse. The room is silent, no fans are on, so how does this happen? If this is real, then it definitely has to be the work of a poltergeist. Maybe it's already even attached to her. Iljin Pudding of the South Korean YouTube channel Ghost Horror Diary has a creepy video with an important message. Iljin wants to prove that ghost hunting is not a men's only activity and that she can be just as brave. She goes exploring an abandoned building all by herself, a haunted place where paranormal energy pours forth from the entrance. Now this lone ghost hunter starts to catch some very interesting things on video.
여잔데?
Next, she captures this. A scary smiling ghost face makes her recoil in horror.
항상 찍히는 문에서 많이 찍히더라고. 근데 오늘 안 찍히는 게 맞나 봐. 뛰다닌다고? 야, 일로 와봐.
She presses on down a hidden hallway teeming with paranormal energy, and at the top of some stairs is a really weird painting that she zooms in on. Something about this place, the painting, the room, feels haunted.
뭐야 이게 이상한 데야.
No more than this, she says, and walks back down. I would like to know more about this painting if anybody happens to recognize it, or anything about the scene it's portraying. It looks like somebody in knight's armor is raising a shield in the air at a podium with someone kneeling behind them, but that's all I can tell. Oh, and there's one more thing that's scary. On the floor of another room is a handwritten sign with this message that freaks her out. Who left it here and what does it say?
아니 이거 한글 맞아요?
Are we looking at a real-life mermaid sunbathing? Shared on YouTube Shorts, I believe this footage's original source is JJPD Producciones. Take a look. The creature sees that it's being watched and then pushes itself to the edge of the rock it's sunning on. It then throws itself back into the water. Although I'd love to believe that mermaids are real, this one no doubt is animated, being that a CGI production company put out the footage. On the other hand, I'm grateful that this one in particular doesn't exist. Because it's seriously creeping me out. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.